I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call order 601. Roll call.
Keith Dennis.
Here.
Brian Dawson.
Here.
Chad Fisher.
Here.
James Smith.
Here.
Call to order already at 6:01.
Number 5, consent agenda items. All matters listed under consent are considered by the Town of Union City Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any Board of Trustee member may, however, remove an item from this consent agenda by request. A is approval of the minutes of the municipal meeting on April 13th. B is approval of the payroll and payroll tax purchases for June 2026. C is approval of the insurance and retirement purchase orders for June 2026. D is approval of utility purchase orders for June 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 5, letters A through D.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Correspondence from citizens. We don't have any, correct? Okay. Financial reports. The regular monthly financial reports for all funds are provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and information by Union City Treasurer Michelle Burns. At the close of business, April 30th, 2026, bank balances are as follows. The Union City Municipal Authority is at $888,366.62. The Union City Municipal Deposit Funds is $59,076.46. Number 8, Department of Union City Water and Sewer. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by Water Superintendent David Jones.
Everybody should have a report. Not a lot to report on it other than seeing that we did a smoke test on the wastewater side and found a few little things. One of the weirdest ones was on what did it say, 2nd and Oak, I think. There's something coming up in the middle of a tin horn, almost like they put the tin horn around a clean out or something. I don't know, smoke blowing out both ends of the tin horn, so we're investigating now. I got a camera crew coming to
Figure out
see what that is.
Oh.
But obviously, if it's coming up inside of the tin horn, it's gonna have water in it. There's smoke coming out, so we're hoping not to have to dig that up. We're hoping we can talk with those guys when they bring the camera in. They'll figure out exactly what it is, and they can actually go in there with a liner and seal it. There's different options. We just don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
Few things was found around town with mostly citizens, and I've tried to notify all of them that things were found. So.
Okay.
And then on water, really everything's fine.
If citizens have leaks, they're allowing runoff water to run into the sewer system and it's on their property, how does that handle?
We try to identify it, and the ones we did identify, we noticed, I've got a hold of them and told them what was going on, and then we just have to go from there. If they refuse to fix it, I'd have to probably get some legal advice,
Okay.
but hopefully because it's gonna hurt them as much as it'll hurt us eventually.
Yeah.
We'll stop them up or whatever, so hopefully, they'll take care of that, and we'll probably do another smoke test in the future and
Okay.
recheck that.
It was way better this time than all.
Big difference, yeah. No doubt, and that's proven by with the rain,
Yeah. Any other questions for David? Anything else?
I don't know if you would like to see it now or later or even at all, but, because it was under both, but I do have a couple of, deals for the complete inventory, if y'all want to just look at it, just for your information, not really nothing to vote on or nothing, but.
Yeah, you emailed me a copy
Yeah.
as well, and I've kind of reviewed all of it.
Would y'all want, I got it here for you.
Put a lot of work into that.
This is, the entire town, and it goes, like that was general. municipal, and then it's fire.
Obviously, this
The
will
best I
be
can do,
a continued work in progress as they locate and find new things to add to it, and, but it's a really good start. Obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind when looking at all of it is making sure that we have adequate insurance to cover all of our assets. And like Dave and I were talking about, not just insurance to cover, you know, what we think of all this equipment's currently worth, but the replacement cost of that equipment if something catastrophic was to happen.
So the buildings,
Yeah, so.
each one's labeled, then it'll be inside, that'll be the breakdown of that particular.
And remind me who we get the insurance from, it's from OMAG, right? Okay, so, I don't know if there's a representative from OMAG that you work with on those kind of things that can help us review all of this and kind of, the best way, maybe you can elaborate the best way to go about that.
Yeah, so
I just wanna make sure we have enough insurance coverage.
anything short of buildings, I mean, the building itself can be insured. Within the building, you're gonna have insurance over things that are stored within the building, and they refer to as contents coverage.
Right.
What you're gonna wanna make sure is that the contents that you have, where stuff is stored, you can,
Yeah,
but, I mean, they're not gonna itemize it like.
Everything-
Like you've got, that if you've got
Yeah.
$1.2 million in contents of the building, but you're only insured for $400,000.
everything that's in each police car is, because we would need to kind of know what a content amount is for each one of the police cars, same thing on each fire truck, and then that content
Fire's
is
in
under,
there, but
huh?
the fire's done.
Yeah, but the contents of a fire truck obviously extremely expensive, right? So, we have to take the contents, I mean, you guys know those, I'm just talking about.
Yeah, it's-
We have that list that you've created, plus the price of that vehicle, and in a total loss situation of that vehicle, we just wanna make sure that that vehicle has enough coverage to cover the contents of it. I'm assuming each truck, like a water truck's not gonna have near the content, like an engine, for instance, so, I just didn't know if there was somebody at OMAC that can help sit down with David, or sit down with Michelle and David and review all of that to make sure that we're covered.
Well, once we have everything put together, what's in buildings, what's in vehicles, then somebody can sit down with somebody from OMAG, and
Okay.
hear what they're calling it now, the insurance.
Hopefully it's there.
Yeah, he feels
But-
confident that
but
he
I
has
mean-
it
but
done
I
at this
mean-
point, so.
From all departments where we're not going to them, oh, we wanna talk about the fire department, they're gonna wanna,
Yeah, they're going,
they're gonna do everything all at once, and then at that point, you just be sitting down with one of the people to go over.
They can come
your
here.
schedule for, they'll make site visits, but I don't know, honestly, they don't usually get requests for
No.
them to come out to do it.
Okay.
They usually are the ones going out to initiate those visits, to
Oh,
make sure
okay.
that people have enough coverage.
Have y'all ever, to your knowledge, ever had that in-depth of a conversation with them?
Yeah,
Okay.
the last one was where you showed him,
Yeah, that was just looking at buildings.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, not necessarily everything inside of something.
Right, but they have come out.
Yeah.
They do
Yeah.
come out
Yeah.
and talk to us about
I mean,
it.
if we could spark that conversation and do that now that he has a full asset list and a much better, it would just make me feel a lot more comfortable knowing that we've covered that basis. All right, anything else, David?
I don't think so.
Okay, moving on to number 9, Department of Union City Water Clerk. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by Water Clerk Tammy Woolard. She did provide us a report as well.
Trash rates are going up.
Yeah. You have anything, Ms. Kim, you want to add? No.
there's just nothing going on, honestly. Yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
So this Jason person working here and over in dispatch here?
That trash increase thing. Anybody ever done the math on what you paid for a residential poly park over a 15-year tenure here in Union City? Those little blue trash cans are about $6 grand.
Oh, my God.
We make $1 a week on them, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Serious. I can buy a lot of blue trash cans for, after doing the math, I called those 2 new ones for myself. Mine were all cracked and had holes in them.
You earned that, huh?
Yeah, felt like it.
They were expensive then.
So what, my 2 trash cans?
Yeah, it's $6 grand.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Expensive.
So do we need to set, is there anything on today's bill for the raising of this price, or we're gonna go in the next meeting?
I failed.
Okay.
They're supposed to be.
Okay.
So they're, just for information, I mean, it's 5%, they're going up, so. it'll be,
Yeah.
You know, what we decide.
Can you mark that to make sure it's on the next agenda?
Yep.
You guys have any more questions?
What'd you say, David?
Huh?
What did you say?
5.
They're going up 5%, so.
You said 2%.
When it 5, oh, it's 5.
Said 2, I believe.
I apologize, I could have sworn we talked about 5 earlier.
Maybe we need to go up 5. And then go back, go see our notes and go up.
Number 2.
I didn't have in front of me, so I didn't need it, but
Yeah, 2%.
It also never hurts to call the next town over and make sure that their increases are the same and they're matching ours. I don't know if you have time to do that.
They went with a total different company.
West?
Oh, south.
Oh, okay, yeah, they did, yeah. All right. Anything else?
I'll check a couple of the increases, and they were all coming at 1.9998%.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it does appear that they're, I can check them all, but they all,
Yeah.
it appears that they're 2%.
All right, number 10, Union City Municipal Authority Clerk Treasurer. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by Union City Municipal Authority Clerk Treasurer Michelle Burns. She put nothing to report and no action.
Yeah.
That's still true?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, number 10A, approval for checks listed. Departments, consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of approving of the checks listed below in accordance with Union City Code Title II, Section 2-1-2, letter C. It's the check sitting here. Superior Services and Supply. This for 3/4 ton medium service gas. What is this? Anybody want to elaborate?
it's, the work they did on the water tower, including the new valve and what do they call it, spring assembly thing.
Oh, okay.
It's standing right by itself, so.
Okay. But you've reviewed everything? Everything good?
Altitude belt?
Well, the thing that operates out to valve, is exactly what we're
Review that.
you know, come out to do spring. And, man, it's been awesome, the pressure staying steady and it's not, yeah, that's what we need.
Did it completely fail or was it an upgrade?
I'm sorry?
Did it completely fail?
Yeah, the old one, of
Water
course,
was cheap.
had, it was well over 20 years old, so.
Anybody have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the signature of the check.
And I'll second it. All, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ten B, late fee adjustments, consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of water department employees adjusting water bill late fees without the board of trustee approval if the due date falls on a weekend or on an office closed holiday.
What she's running into is, say the due date comes in on a Sunday, or somebody come and paid it on Saturday,
Right.
no way to know.
Yeah, and I kinda want some counsel's leadership on this. So, I mean, and just to be frank, we put these rules in place because it was a big area of contest, a couple years ago. There's, again, even with the auditor standing here and, investigators looking at all of it and everything, there was, nothing was ever nailed down enough to prosecute or place blame on or any of them types of things. But it gave the appearance of your seat waiving fees for a certain portion of the public and not doing it for another portion of the public. And so what's important here is just keeping this on the up and up. And so, and I'm trying to say that as nice as I possibly can, but that's the feeling that was.
Would be documented in a list brought to the board the next meeting.
Yeah, I just want, I mean, me personally, I just want some way of, and it's not just for us, it's an oversight, it's to protect you as well, so you're not accused of such behavior, right? So, I wanna cover your role and know that there's some oversight to where we're not just waiving fees just because somebody's nice or they're friendly or they bring donuts on Monday or whatever the scenario is. Just like,
I mean, I feel as though it doesn't matter when you set the date.
yeah.
That
There's always gonna be a contestant of this, I do agree with you on that. I do understand what few phone calls I've had where people are complaining about the 15th and the last day of the month seems to be, a popular time as to when people are paid on. But, other than that, I mainly just want something to protect her, some kind of policy or procedure that protects her. To where she has a way, if it's questioned, that we have to prove.
Is that doable in the software where they like they make it the Friday or the Monday after?
And that would be the issue is, and totally if I'm speaking out of turn here, the software is gonna apply the late fee as soon as that due date passes.
Right.
Even if that due date was on the weekend or on.
It doesn't at midnight, that day proof.
Yeah, so what you're talking about here is whether or not you want to go for it, because as of right now, once late fees applied, it applies, even if the circumstances would suggest that maybe it shouldn't have been applied, the software's gonna apply it.
Right.
You want to have an objective standard that staff can apply, so that there's no accusation of certain people getting waivers that other people didn't get. If that happens, then you deal with it, but you wanna have something in place that would give authority, or not give authority. I mean, that's the other side of this, is you can always leave it as all adjustments have to come to you. The problem there, 15th of the month, you need the second Monday of the month, so it would be almost a month later before you would have a chance to actually consider it.
Right.
And so the question would be, do you want to have a policy that would have to be evenly applied? And I mean, that's where just because you adopt a policy doesn't mean you won't have issues. But if you've got a policy and then you've got things going in and waiving things and reporting to you, these were waived because the 15th fell on a Saturday, a Sunday, a holiday, and the payment was received the next business day. System applies the late fee, you act out the late fee per the policy. Then you have the accountability of getting that report and knowing which ones were waived and why they were waived. But right now, she can't do it on her own.
Yeah, and that's a relatively new rule, we set that rule up after the main issue was found through audits. And we're not talking a little bit of money here, it was $10,000, so it added up.
Is there any reservation to presenting you guys with something you can adopt that would just make an objective criteria?
Yeah,
If it falls on a weekend, a holiday, it goes to next business day.
I'm sorry.
And the only other thing I would think of to add to that would be like, and it's happened before, if someone made a payment and somehow it didn't get pretty quickly, you know what I'm saying, then you can prove, hey, that was paid on time.
Yeah.
So it's not just holiday, but most time that's the problem.
Payment was received, but they paid it
Proof that,
somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what that would be, but where we can show the receipt of money.
Right.
It just didn't get.
I'm all for you.
Then you waive
writing
certain
something
things,
up,
like
if you
I
guys
said.
are okay with it.
But even still like that, if you have somebody paying the bill all the time on a regular basis, and on that one month, that maybe they forgot, or maybe they, anything, past the due date, and then, 2 days later, we're already shutting them off.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been a good citizen for you know, I mean,
What you're getting into are value judgments.
yeah.
And those are just difficult to do, unfortunately. I mean,
What we're looking for is a non-value judgment, objective criteria. If this, then you can waive the fee.
And on those, I think if someone's requesting that, it should be a case-by-case brought to the board. On what you're describing.
Yeah.
Just to keep her from having to be the one to make that decision.
Oh, yeah, that's the value judgment.
Yeah, so it's value judgment.
So it's following,
Criteria.
that would be,
Yeah.
it would be, so the 15th, anything after midnight on the 15th is late, so to speak. And then around the 17th or 18th, depending on where it's at on the week, is when we put a notice on their door saying 21st is the cutoff date.
And that to me is crazy aggressive. Like I'm more of a, like, after your 30 days past due, then your water gets cut off, you know? I mean, if someone's in the hospital, if somebody's, I mean, any of those types of things.
That's what we're in.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, you know, it's just tough, right?
Yeah.
Tight window.
And the other one was, you know, usually they could come in and sign an agreement for 30 days. And
Yeah.
we moved that right now only to 7 and only 2 a year.
Yeah.
Might be something to look at to.
Years ago, before I was involved in this, my mom was burned and put in the hospital. My wife had an emergency C-section and was in the hospital, and she was the one who paid the bills. And this date happened to me, and I don't know if you, someone locked my water, and I came home from the hospital after 5 days of being there to take my shower, and my water was cut off, and I cut the lock and delivered a very large check to this box to cover the next 3 months along with the cut lock, and then they charged me for the lock. But I have water.
But we can come up with some different.
I feel like this is always gonna be an issue.
Oh, it will be, I mean, it will be, and I don't mind having some leniencies, and I would love, I mean, if you guys are open to it, he'll put a policy in place where if someone, you know, if it's a weekend or a holiday, you know, having an exception, but it's like, you draw the line and you move the line, and kind of, you know, if people keep wanting the line moved, it's kind of what happens.
Do you wanna, any interest in talking about the due date itself?
The only thing, I mean, unless y'all have any other ideas, was forgive me, the 14th, right? And move,
The 14th at 11:59.
okay, and moving it to the 15th at 11:59.
No, we don't need to move.
Huh?
That wouldn't help anything, would it? Or you
There's
said,
there's people that are paid on the 15th, and I believe the 31st of each month. Like, there's a lot of,
First?
huh?
28th, 30th.
Yeah, right. It's the last day of the month, the 15th and then the last day of the month.
Yeah.
So if you make it the 15th, it allows people that are paid that day to pay the water bill that day.
I mean, I'm all for helping, we run
Yeah.
out. Or maybe even make it a couple days after that.
I mean, I don't take a lot of complaints, but it's one that's coming to me like,
Yeah.
crazy, like, why is it on the 14th and not the 15th? That's when I get paid. I'm like,
Yeah.
never saw it, but okay. Like, it was like,
So we still run into the issue of what you said.
yeah, that wouldn't change nothing, but as far as the due date being changed, that's the only thing I can think of unless you guys know of anything else.
Alright, so we'd be looking at a policy that moved it one day to 15th at 11:59 PM, after which it's considered to be late, having the exception, the ability, because the software's gonna apply the fee, if that day falls on a weekend or a holiday, so the person couldn't come in, town hall was closed. If they make the payment by the next business day, close the business for the next business day, staff would be directed to waive the late fee, and so there'd be no discretion involved.
And that would help a lot, okay.
And then, and this is something I need to get David on from a procedural standpoint, but I mean, what I'm envisioning is policy would also address cutoff procedures, and how quickly you move to
Yeah.
that.
And I don't have a dog in that fight, but I know where he's coming from, like, it's due, and then 2 days later, he's putting notice on the front door, it's like it's 48 hours. But I don't know how other municipalities do it, I don't have a clue.
Not that quick.
Yeah, okay, and I mean, it seems quick to me, I mean, I'm just knowing, and,
Well, the cutoff day is supposed to be 21st.
yeah.
That's why we do it a couple
But
days
it's
early
still
to give
extremely
time.
quick, anytime you have people that are dealing with any
Yeah,
kind of,
I agree.
like, in my mind, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, like, normally in most things, it's 30 days, but.
Or 90.
Huh?
Or 90.
90 gets out of control, because, and this is just, in my mind, you have people that are living paycheck to paycheck, they miss one bill,
then they're gonna.
They stand a much better chance of being able to
Late
catch
fees on
up
top of
one,
that.
yeah, they stand a better chance of being able to catch up if you're forcing them at that point to catch up. Once they get 2 and 3 payments behind, they're so far behind that there's no way to catch up. I mean, that's just.
That was the issue, is one of the reasons the board decided to move it back was
Yeah.
with our deposit, if they're 2 months behind, and they just
Yeah,
leave.
then you almost have to start taking
Then
up,
you lose.
you have to put them on payment plans, and it gets more complicated. I mean, even the 30-day thing, I think was, we were dealing with that, but I don't have a solution here, to be honest with you. I mean, that's just kind of, whatever.
I think it needs to be more than it is.
Huh?
I personally think it needs to be more than it is. Yeah.
More than it is, but
Yeah.
not too much to
Right.
become.
You don't want to get 3 months behind and then they move.
Right.
We don't have nothing to hold them on.
No, not unless they pay the deposit, and if their water bill's bigger than the deposit, it's still a loss. but-
It will be after 1 month.
Yeah.
Or,
So-
man.
You see other municipalities, so if you have any insight, we're all ears, but, I personally wouldn't want to go longer than 30 days, I don't know what y'all's thought is, I don't want to go any longer than that, but.
Well, and you need to work something in for the payment plan,
Yeah.
if they know the second note's already coming to me. And what do we do right now, if we're cutting off, what you said, Dave's on the 21st?
Unless that's on a Friday, Saturday.
It's currently due on the 14th,
Friday, Sunday.
and then they have to pay on the 21st, and we did that because that allows 1 additional week.
And if they sign, right now, you have it, if they sign a, payment, what's it called, extension, they can only go to the 28th. So
Yeah.
really only give them 7 more days. And then you cut it down to two a year rather than,
What are we billing them at the point that we cut them off? Are they getting billed for a partial month?
if they get turned off,
To the 21st?
No, it's a full month, it's the.
Or they'd be billed with the actual use bills, because there's meters.
Yeah.
Never mind.
as I say, we read them on the 20th.
Garbage and
It's a Monday.
sewer, so that is billed for actual use.
So, we read them on the 20th, so it wouldn't be, it would not be half a day or something.
And when you're manually cutting them off, right? So you'd be able to read it, like we moved to the cutoff date, you'd be able to read it on the cutoff.
And when we turn it off, we write down actually I take a picture of the number and write it down. And then it's $50 extra to get turned back on, which we have one thing to do. But,
I can put together policies that address all this.
Any other concerns, I mean, you're dealing with these people on a month-to-month basis, is there anything there that we didn't address?
Other than the extensions of being due, I've heard
Okay.
several customers say that they're literally,
No, time to talk to people.
Yeah,
and I think if you do the extension, it'll be more than 7 days, so it really may not help them.
yeah.
I just don't want to give people so much rope that they hang themselves with. But this would provide some relief, right? Is the general census that y'all are okay with 30 days? What, 30 days?
We'd be looking at it essentially as the cutoff would be the next month.
Okay, got it. That's the point, okay.
You know, if they haven't gotten caught up,
Yeah.
by the 15th, the next month.
Right, okay, perfect.
What if we exchange community service for water bills? Like, if they can't pay, maybe they pick up trash along, maybe.
Old school, I think, I'm not against it.
You know,
Well, the
now,
problem with that is,
Can my boys do it?
no, I agree with you, two different companies, Shrink County Water is totally different.
I just know time for trouble with a lot of people right now. We'll start here, this is quite a bit of leniency,
So
I
when
think.
you say get caught up, are you talking about their current bill and
So,
past due?
the way I picture it working is, their bill was today's like the 11th, their bill's due, like right now, it's the 14th, right? It's due on the 14th.
Right,
If we move the due date, it'll be the 15th.
right,
It's due on the 15th,
okay.
they now have till the 15th of the next one to pay that bill. If they don't, their water gets cut off. But if they pay the old one, let's say this one would be for the month of April, May, right? So the next one is gonna be May, June. They're gonna have to pay April, May's bill, and then they're gonna have their May, June bill. If they can't afford to pay that, they're still behind, but they have until the 15th of the next one to pay that one before it gets cut off. So you're gonna have, unless there's another way, you know it, you could have these people that are literally coming in and paying a bill on the 15th, but they're paying their last one, and they already have another one due right now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I think we do a lot better than we.
So that's kind of the difficult part here, is you're trying to provide leniency, but what happens is some people will utilize that the proper way, and then some people will roll that into, you know, it's gonna be great for them for 30 days, and then they're gonna be right back in the exact same boat they were in again.
Personally, I'd like to see something that had a little extra payment, sort of, I mean, essentially,
Okay.
you can look at it as, is it the April, May bill or the May, June bill? In my head, it's almost, the April, May bill is the one that you're doing a payment plan on, you gotta stay current with May, June, July,
Yeah.
and there'll be a little bit of an extra payment every month until you can satisfy, okay, the leniency. Because otherwise, you're gonna get, what's the late fee right now? Alright.
10%.
All the,
Alright, so you're gonna get hit with 10% on April, May.
Yeah,
which
10% on
just
April,
that
yeah.
one, but then you haven't paid May, June, now you've got another 10% being added on. So if you can get back to current, we can, you know, in my lawyer brain is stay current, and we can work out what the monthly amount is that you're paying extra to satisfy the delinquency, the prior amount, so that we're not having to constantly add more 10% fees on top of it. Okay. So essentially, just package that one up.
And I'm open to that, I just don't want it to get so complicated for her that she's having to deal with.
Well, and that's where I'll need to
The
talk to
system
her about
does
this.
it for us.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's what.
That makes me feel better, if that's the case.
It's just-
Cause I don't want it to be one of those scenarios where you're stuck with like previous employee having this big spreadsheet over off to the side, and you're, you know,
No,
picking
our
and choosing
system-
who's paying what, and payment plans, and who's missed, and who had, I don't want you doing any of
No,
that.
it'll show me everything, and then
Okay.
I can go in and make the payment plan, and it'll let me know that the customer has an active
Okay.
payment plan,
Okay.
so.
Another question, another thinking out loud, is if someone gets paid on the 15th, I'm assuming most everyone's probably automatic deposit now anyway, but if I get my check on the 15th, it's still hard to get here and get it paid that day. My point is, if 15th has been not enough, or should it be like the 16th or something, just, does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
We have a Dropbox.
We do, and, but,
When you get it on the 15th in the morning, are you crediting those to the day before?
No, you can't do that,
Okay.
you have to do it for the day.
So when we say 11:59, it's really 5 o'clock. Cause how would you, unless you're making an online payment, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're.
that's been my, right, if we come up at 9 o'clock at night, pay it.
It's not gonna be received till the next day.
Right.
Even on the weekend.
Yeah. When you walk in at 8 o'clock, the first thing you do is check that box, and if it was in the box, you're good. If it's 8:01, I mean.
But that's, right now, we don't have to be able to do that, because the system's already done it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, we could put it in there as if it's received with the night drop, not, they came in on the 16th to make payment, but when we got in on the 16th, it was in
It
the
was
night
there.
drop. Then we could apply the same, you know, same test, but that would qualify for waiving the late fee.
Right. That would qualify for, yeah, exactly, that was our whole, bringing that up. You know,
I mean, if they may have any heartburn with that if somebody dropped, yes, they could have dropped it off at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock through. They could have dropped off at 7 o'clock in the morning, but if it's received with the night drop on the 16th when we come in.
That part doesn't bother me. I mean, again, it's just drawing that line. I mean, like, how many times can you move the line of how many, you know?
The check's still gonna have to clear.
Yeah. It just gets really complicated. You're trying to provide some leniencies and help, but it's.
Well, also making sure that you're receiving the money so that the ratepayers that are paying aren't having to subsidize the people who aren't paying. And so, I mean, to me, the night drop, what's the difference between the check you received at 5 o'clock that you're probably gonna deposit the next day anyway, and the checks that were in the night drop that you received at 8 o'clock in the morning? As opposed to the person who came in at 8:01 and handed the check, that's like, that'd be very easy to add in weekend holidays and any checks that are received on the 16th from the night drop. And that they would all, cause all we're talking about then is the late fee, whether or not the late fee's gonna be waived.
Right.
So that's easy enough to work in.
How would it work if you're on a payment plan, Well, now you know the current plan.
Well, at the point that you haven't satisfied the payment plan itself will essentially dictate that if you don't stay current with it, then it's staving off the termination procedure.
You have to be current in order to start a new payment plan. So if you already have a payment plan in place, you can't have a second one.
Yeah, at that point, you'd be back in delinquency.
So we never got satisfied first, yeah.
And I'll tell you, I mean, I don't know how it works with the rules or laws, if you really see a genuine need within the community, and you know the difference between the ones that are taking advantage of the situation and the genuine need. I mean, I'm open to helping, or different members of the community helping. I know a lot of people within the community that come down and pay other people's water bills over the years.
Right,
They're
there
people-
has been a couple of
Yeah.
times that I have
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
outside resources
Yeah.
that have came ahead to you.
So, but there are people within the community that will help
Yes.
with those things if you see a genuine need, so. Anything else? Okay, good? Okay. All right. Now, you think you can have that next meeting possibly? Okay. Now, moving on to number 11, Union City Municipal Authority Human Resources, Municipal. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees. Huh? Human Resources Municipal. Is this typo? The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by HR Supervisor Michelle Burns.
Nothing to report.
Okay, everything good?
Uh-huh.
Union City Municipal Authority payroll. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action, informational purposes by payroll supervisor Michelle Burns.
Nothing to report. All good.
Number 13 is executive session. We have no action. 13A is adjournment of executive session. There is no action. 13B is executive session action, and there is no action. Number 14 is mayor and trustee report. Does anybody have anything? I don't know. Okay, number 15 is new business. You wanted to ask her some questions, he wanted to ask you some questions in regards to this letter that we received
I
tonight.
didn't know if you wanted to do that under municipal.
Whatever you wanna do. Yeah, we
Doesn't
can-
matter, I can answer it now if you like.
You wanna do it now or in the next one?
I just don't know the background behind it.
Yeah, we were just curious about the background behind it. So you were gonna have to get them a copy of.
I'm the person trying to figure out, I sent them in a copy of the new ordinance once you guys adopted it.
Okay.
I wasn't aware they sent this letter, or I.
We just got it, yeah, we just got it
Yeah, or I would
tonight.
have already addressed it.
Yeah, it was addressed to
But
me.
these are the ones that, because, I'm not issuing permits, people building dams and digging out ponds.
You're not issuing
I
permits?
have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Are we supposed to?
According to them, we are.
Okay. Do we have an ordinance that is supposed to require you to do that or no?
Any construction, they're considering, digging out your pond construction.
Okay.
I interpreted that totally different. And I do think I'm gonna have some issues going out to these farmers that, you gotta stop, you come get a floodplain permit.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
I will
this
address
isn't
it
your
here.
rules, right? These are
No,
state
these are
state
not.
laws.
These are
And
not.
so the reason I think they're cracking down on this, and this is my opinion, it's very popular right now for fracking purposes and water purposes and these oil field companies are going around, Jeff can maybe elaborate better than any of us, you probably know about how it works, but they go in and dig out all these ponds to increase the water amounts, in order to increase the amount of water they can provide to local drilling rigs and different things, and I'm sure that's a big portion of why they're cracking down on that stuff, but there's stuff going on in Blanchard right now, where you have a very large, relatively large creek that runs through some nice neighborhoods, and oil field guys are putting their generator pumps into that stream ahead of that, and it's dried everything up downstream, all their decorative ponds, all that kind of thing. You start getting into all this stuff, and that's why it's better to let the Water Resources Board and the Corporation Commission handle that, but if they don't know about them, they can't get involved.
For one thing I do, like, I had a gentleman, I think I told you guys last month, it's been in the last 45 days to do it, that he decided to dig out an area in his yard, in the back of his property, wanting to let some of that water kind of
Yeah.
move over here so he could start a pond. And in doing so, he caused the waterway that it was supposed to go down.
When you start getting into drought scenarios, I have no clue about how y'all's creeks and ponds work in the area, but let's say Jeff's pond flows into Dawson's pond, and he digs his out a whole bunch and shuts off all the water to his place for 3 months while his big new pond is filling up. He now can't water his cattle because of that, and so, in my mind, yeah.
Does
that happen before? I didn't poke anything, did I?
It could have caused damage to possibly to the bridge.
Yeah.
So I went out there and basically made him undo what he did,
Yeah.
so we could do that.
So they would have received what you sent them after they sent this letter, and so we just need to follow up with.
Yeah, and I'll call them tomorrow, like I said,
Okay.
I didn't know they sent this letter, and find out, and I'd also like a little bit of advice for them, from them, you know, in regards to how I handle going out and telling people you have to stop being
Okay.
responsible.
Can you update me when you know that? 'Cause they're addressing this to me now.
Yeah. And that's what
Yes,
they do.
they're addressing it to the town.
Yeah.
And they've not got a ton of correspondence from me this past month. I've been knee-deep in grass and weeds and trying to
Okay.
get what the auditors and everybody chooses.
Okay. I know we should address it to your mayor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what he has to say.
Well, no, I mean, that wasn't just addressed to the mayor.
Yeah.
Address it
And that's what
to
they
the
do, and
mayor.
there are no penalties
Yeah.
for that, even though it says non-compliant, that's the thing. But there are no penalties for that, I have checked on that. And I'll call them tomorrow and find out.
It's their effort to make us
Yeah,
be an arm for them.
yes, absolutely.
Any more questions? Anything to add?
Is there, is still able to do business?
Yes, yes.
My name is Richard Gerber, I live on Choctaw Creek Avenue.
Okay.
I would like to have a sign, a speed limit sign, it's 35 miles an hour, the whole road, because everybody likes to use that as a, speedway for some reason.
It's new pavement. It's new pavement, of course, yeah.
Yes, and,
Yeah.
so,
Is there not a speed limit sign through there at all?
pardon me?
Is there not a speed limit sign through there at all? There's not, okay. And the speed limit there is what again?
It's not marked as 45.
I'm proposing
Okay.
35. What would you say, 25?
Well, I said it's not marked as 45, it's out
Right,
where.
yeah, but
Which street is it?
I would like.
Choctaw.
35.
It's one mile, west, and then you turn right.
Because
The
every
portion
time
he's
I go out
referring
there-
to is 1 mile west, and as you turn right, that entire middle section going north.
Every time I
It's
go out
all-
to the mailbox, there's always somebody
Yeah.
coming with blood in their eyes.
Yeah. Another thing that was brought up to me by someone who lives just outside of city limits, and I don't think we have any jurisdiction, because city limits stops at your corner, right, Jeff? And
Well,
they were referring to,
Just northwest.
okay, because the bridge they're referring to is a little bit further west, and it's a 32-ton bridge outside of town, and then semi-trucks going over that are way above 32,000 pounds that are crossing that bridge pretty regularly. But that would be county, I think we talked to them, right?
And if they get the whole thing on there, most of them probably 80,000 legally.
Yeah.
So they can't get all the
Yeah.
truck and trailer on there.
Yeah.
They're not going over 32.
That's true, yeah.
So,
Got no holding for that bridge.
Canadian County has a bridge, and weights and measures guy.
Yeah, he does, okay.
Yep, Canadian County.
Okay.
We have tanker trucks, semis, just zipping right on through.
Okay. So in that one, we need to, just add mile per hour signs, we can request that from the county, correct?
Well, it sounds like,
Yes.
that would also be
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah, if we were doing what he requested, 35, yeah. Are you making notes, or looking at it?
Yeah, just looking to make sure it's all within our city limits.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do, 152 at the same time.
Technically, it's not bad.
55.
Setting the speed limit is gonna be the fun part.
152 is gonna be 55 miles an hour.
Yeah. Setting the speed limit is gonna be fun because technically only half the roads in our jurisdiction. So, I'm gonna have to.
What is it again, say it again?
152 is gonna be 55 miles an
Right,
hour.
just got it 55, so we
Yeah.
Well, we got maybe a
Those
mile
cops
within our city.
Yeah.
I think we gotta vote on, that's what we done before, on 89.
Yeah.
Half there.
So we have to make it, we need to make it an agenda item to address it.
But it won't be on municipal, we kinda,
Huh? Yeah, you're right, that'll be on the next one. It's not perfect, but, we can bring this up again, but we'll need to make an agenda item to discuss it as a board, and then we would vote on it, and then we would request that from the county, correct?
I think we're supposed to purchase the signs.
If we want it, we gotta do it.
Okay, fair enough. Can you put that as a note on your next agenda item? The next meeting, next regular scheduled meeting, which is the second Monday of next month, we'll have this as an agenda item where we can address it and talk about it. So. Anything else anybody wants to add?
And for clarification, we will be talking about the speed limit. We're talking about the speed limit sign.
Yes.
We're also talking about the speed limit for half the roadway. I mean, it looks like we've got about a mile of both sides are us, and then after that is the
Yes,
north side of town.
it's all counted, yep.
Well, that's half the road is ours.
Yes,
North
yes.
there, the northbound side.
That's true, yeah.
South all the time.
The only thing about that, just saying, it's gonna be a brand new paved road, when we 35, we get the gravel, it's 45.
County at that point.
No, it's still
Oh,
us.
it's still us, that's what you're saying.
All the way to Reno.
Yeah.
No, it's still us, the map is correct. And
Yeah.
their officers have concurrent jurisdiction over the entire street.
Yeah.
If we have any portion of the street, we've got the full street,
Yeah.
for enforcement purposes.
Yeah.
But,
So
but
do
it
you,
makes it a little bit more
so do you wanna
difficult
address
to
the entire length?
Does it drop down in front of?
I personally don't see difference between 35 and 45, that's just me personally.
Yeah.
But, you gotta be careful, we got so many
Yeah.
things with different, I know you're frustrated with everything.
Yeah.
Got one out here 25, and so it's confusing.
I noticed the people at the edge, someplace here, put up their own speed limit sign, you know, slow down kids at 25 miles an hour or something like that.
I've seen that before.
Is there some rules about that? Cause I've come through here and these kids aren't like
Um,
getting out of the street.
I got two complaints in the last month.
That's their honking, that we
Yeah.
drove by, that's what they're honking at.
Yeah, I've had two complaints in the last month about kids at that street playing in the street and not moving out of traffic's way. Yeah. I to answer your question, I don't know how, I mean, cause there's not really anything you guys can do to address a kid playing in the street, I mean, at some point.
Roll down the window and yell at them.
Yeah.
They're kids.
50 years ago, Jeff, people just got run over.
It drives me to the stunt,
But,
something is, cause it's hard
yeah.
to see it, and then there's all that.
It's a
stuff
safety
in that
thing.
Yard that you can't pick them out because of all the different shapes in there, it's not like you could have a clear yard and see a little kid running across.
Yeah.
There's some roosters and.
Yeah. No, it's a problem. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you fix it. I mean, it's the parents' responsibility to keep the kids out of the street, right? Or no? I mean, is there anything we can do? I don't know anything we can do.
There's still a person that's in the roadway, that's why I was joking with them, I mean, they could throw the ticket to the kid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the best solution,
Yeah.
but.
That's the right thing to do.
How effective it was.
No, I mean, it's legit. I haven't ran into it yet, but he's the third person in the last month to tell me that.
And every time we see them out there, we drive by them, hey, get out the street. And they listen, it's not like they just ignore us.
It would be tragic though for him, but, I mean, but it's 25 miles an hour, we can't slow it down anymore. All right, number 16, adjournment.
Make the motion adjourn.
I'll second it. All those in favor? Okay. We are now moving on to the regular, Town of Houston City, Board meeting.
Municipal meeting over at 6:49.
Okay. We've already completed the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. We have a roll call.
Roll call, Keith Dennis.
Here.
Ryan
Here.
Dawson. Chad Fisher.
Here.
James Smith.
Here.
Call to order at 6:49.
I prefer to jump to the agenda items that covers people who are here. Which agenda item is
It's
there?
gonna be 9, it's under code enforcement.
Okay, code enforcement,
Go skip over to number 9.
is it 9B?
No, it's gonna be lot split, isn't it? Yeah. So it's gonna be 9.
Is it rezoning?
9A, start at 9F, the rezoning has to be.
Okay,
started.
9F, okay.
9F.
All right, we're jumping ahead to 9F, the rezoning at Alphabet Street. Consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of the rezoning of Weld Mechanic Inc. located at 3755 Alphabet Street from agricultural A1 to industrial I1. Legal description for the property is as follows. I'm not gonna read it. If anyone needs it, let the office know. Okay. So we are rezoning from to. Teresa?
From agriculture, general agriculture to industrial one. They work on oil field equipment. They're moving their site out to here. They purchased 40 acres, and they want to split off 5 acres of that and rezone it to industrial. There's a lot split application in there afterwards as well, so we just have to get through the park process. There's already a large barn on there that they'll be able to utilize, so it's pretty simple. Getting everything out here, getting it started right. When they purchased this, my understanding, they didn't realize they were in city limits. Didn't know they were going to do all this.
That's just to rezone industrial, right?
Yes, that's that 5 acres. The other 35 will say agriculture.
Is that what you're putting the pipe fence and cable around? It's just a 5 acre?
Yes, sir.
And I sent out notifications to all the area property owners. I had one call, just making sure that's where it was at. We didn't quite get where it was at, and they were fine with it.
You spoke at the planning commission meeting, do you mind giving a quick summary as to why you're asking for rezoning?
Because, we're gonna ask permission to move in the office there, like a mobile home, and that's what come up. So, we're like, well, you know,
And for the board's background, the commission took this up, 4 out of 5 members were present. There was quite a bit of discussion about a mobile home going in, and if we allow the zoning, if the end result is that a mobile home goes in there, you know, if that can encourage other people to have mobile homes that they want to live in, to be as clear as possible. And I mean, this is kind of blending a few of the items that are on here, but they're all related to the same property. He is not asking for permission to use a mobile home as a home, to use it for residential purposes. He's asking to use that structure for commercial purposes.
Now, in the past, we haven't allowed that, correct, for mobile homes to be used. Is it a temporary thing, or is this a permanent office?
I wanted to make it permanent, but I mean, if you give us a chance to put it in there and then we'll move it out and build something else, I mean, that would work for us too, you know, it just, right now, we need it in the office.
Right.
My only concern was, you know, there's been property for sale up on Garrett Road and kind of in that same area. I've had people call, you know, property's on industrial, hey, can we put a house on there as well as our business? And we told them no.
Yeah. And let's be expressly clear, there's a difference between use and how you use, correct?
They want them for residential.
Yeah.
That's the difference there.
What we're talking about here is a structure that, and again, this is blending a few of the items, but the reason he's asking for rezoning, I mean, these all flow from one to the other to the other. And so, if you're gonna have a big problem with how you're gonna use it, if you got it rezoned, then that needs to be talked about as part of rezoning. He would not be using a mobile home for residential purposes. That would be, and if he did, that would be unlawful. The concern would be education, making sure that everything else works and sees that there's a mobile home there and starts asking why they can't have a home there, because it's not being used as a home. It's not being used for residential purposes. It's being used for office purposes. A purpose that would be allowed under the industrial one zone. And so if he wants the use, then he allows for the building to engage in the use that would be legal under I-1 zone. So there'd be an appearance issue, but there's no suggestion that he would be using it for residential purposes.
Right.
But there were no protests at planning commission. Planning commission, as I said, with one of their 5 members absent, voted 4-0 to recommend that you adopt this.
3-1.
Was it 3-1?
No,
They all adopted for
Yeah, the
industrial.
home
Yeah,
for
yeah.
3-1, the rezone was 4-0.
Yeah.
So it was unanimous.
Yeah, and I'm for the rezoning. I'm worried, I don't like the idea of a trailer house being there permanently. If it was a temporary conditional use type thing, I would be open to that.
Has this modular, or has this home been purchased yet? Office, or are you gonna use for an office, has it been purchased?
No, we have a contract on it.
Cause I know they make mobile offices. I mean, it'd be
Yeah,
the
no,
same thing, but it's
yeah.
just the appearance of it.
Oh, yeah, oil and gas industry.
I mean, and how would we know that he's not
Yeah,
living in it,
Yeah.
other than his word?
yeah,
Or you get neighbors that report it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then what?
We have a lot of code issues come to light.
Yeah.
Then how does
Teresa
Teresa
going out there
first
finding
stand on
somebody
it
reporting.
when somebody asks you, or the same thing with down Garrett Road, about a home being on industrial.
And again, it would be one of those, the structure that you have, let's say this property at one point in time been zoned residential, got rezoned to ag, the house was still there just vacant, and then it got rezoned industrial. Well, again, he might want to use that residence for commercial purposes, to rent an office out of it. The only question for our purposes would be, is he using it for a purpose that, is he using the structure for a purpose that's authorized under the code? If he's using it for a purpose that's authorized under the code, legal. If, however, people are staying there and residing there, that's different.
Boy,
If somebody wanted to live anywhere in the office, even if you build an office, they can live in there. I mean, they make, you know, but I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for an office.
And if somebody were doing that and somebody filed a complaint, then we may have pursued it as a zoning code violation if they were using their office in a commercial zone property for residential purposes, if they were living out of it. That would be something that we'd have to look at as enforcement action. Again, though, it's something that has to be reported to us, and we'd have to determine there are enough facts to support moving forward. So, for present purposes, we kind of blended the two, but
is that in our code book? In the industrial use? Like to allow that in industrial?
again, it's the use of the structures that use it for, generally speaking, and you'll see this in some communities that have rezoned residential areas to commercial. You'll see houses get converted to commercial businesses, and some cities are okay with that, some cities are very not okay with it. There's not much they can do because the zoning is about the use of the land.
You won't find in there where it specifies the type of office,
No.
which I think is what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
You're
there's
not
nothing
gonna
in there
find it
about
in
the
there.
type. But the question would be, I mean, you could have an office building that you could, say an office building could convert it to, hotels, that they still look like an office from the outside, but the use itself has changed. The use here would be consistent with the I-1 zoning district.
Mm-hmm. What about like Vito building? Except if that's what they were looking to.
Like the quadplex or
Yeah, these little, no,
like the 40-foot?
At Horizon Ag, they've stuck stuff like that in there. Right, is that what you're referring to?
yeah.
Yeah.
If they're done appropriately.
And I could, if I wanted it for a home, I could break off another 5 acres on the 40 acres that I already have and put a house there, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm not coming here to lie to y'all, I'm just coming straight up.
Yeah, and please don't think that we're trying to push back.
No,
We're
I'm
just-
just,
We've been really trying to
yeah.
follow these things,
I'm
and
just
we've also been making a lot of changes to our code books because they're so outdated and there's a lot of things, and we're kind of trying to raise that bar a little bit and stop some of the just fly by the seat of your pants type behaviors that's gone on for a long time. And so you're kind of caught in that time frame where we're trying to, really stiffen up on, the do's and don'ts of what our books say. It's really worthless to have a book that we're supposed to follow if nobody's following it, type thing. But I know exactly where you're coming from. Right now it's ag, you can split it up and put 10 trailer houses on it if you wanted to, and
I'm
nobody
just
can
trying to
work.
explain it that I'm not really
Yeah,
gonna do that,
yeah.
So what about the next guy?
Yeah, and that's the difficult part, right? So,
Somebody had asked me that, what happens if 3 years from now he decides to sell it with that home already on there?
Yeah.
Whoever purchases it, they're buying it to do that a residence.
Which they wouldn't be able to.
They wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to.
yeah,
So
the,
you don't have permits
yeah,
right
the
now.
the zoning,
If you had a vacant house right now and rezoned to commercial, and it had been vacant for long enough that it couldn't hold what we call legal non-conformance, if we rezone your property right now to, let's say, commercial, it doesn't mean you can't live there because you were legally residing there using it for R1 purposes before the rezone. You could continue that, but if it was something that didn't have that legal non-conformance, the fact that it looks like a residential property doesn't mean that they can use it as residential property. The zoning is in control.
If it's permitted strictly as an office building, even if it sells, I would just make notification you cannot reside in there.
Well, in an office,
In-
consistent, because the office, we say office, it's not gonna be a doctor's office. The zone, it's gotta be an office for a use, it's in support of a use that is authorized in the I-1 district.
And it was, this one would be.
Right, so I'm saying, if you sold somebody else 10, 15, 20 years down the road and they wanted to open a dentist office there, well, the answer would be no, just like it would be on trying to use it for residential purposes, because how you use that has to be in support of a use that's authorized
They
under
just
the
have to, come back and apply to have it redone again
Yeah.
to get it out of the district before we can proceed with anything.
Right, before you can change how you are using that.
What about the difference between a building code of building an industrial building or a commercial building versus building a residential building? Like a lot of times when you're building a commercial building, you know, the building standards are a lot more stringent because there's the public that comes in and out of it, and they want stronger walls and roof ties and different specifications of concrete, fire suppression, you know, such things like that.
What is the difference between a commercial and industrial, I guess? What is the difference there?
I asked the same question, if it makes you feel better. It's like one of the first things I asked her.
Yeah, cause I was like, I don't understand why,
Yeah.
you know, it's industrial or commercial, or what's the,
Size difference.
Largely it turns on residential versus non-residential.
commercial?
Think of it as residential or not. If it's not residential, then there's going to be different standards that apply. So that's a building code issue, not a building code issue.
You guys are trying to, get this moved by a certain date, if you've already got a contract on it, when would you try to have it moved in?
We're waiting on this.
Waiting on this, okay.
Have you gone with other options, like a metal bar, or?
It just takes longer, and right now we need the office, you know, and just, you know, we're in time, you know. That's the only thing is.
I'm just trying to think of,
Time and money, you know, and
Yeah.
money's everything, you know what I'm saying?
to be sensitive to their time constraint, and then also allowing you to dig into this a little deeper and make sure that we're going in the right direction. We're gonna have a special meeting when, potentially,
Tuesday or Thursday
of next week.
Yeah, which is, that's the days they're available, is Tuesday and Thursday next week. So they said let you guys decide.
So what she's referring to, I don't know if I need to do this now or later, I don't wanna break any rules,
Jump in
all these darn rules.
I can't do either of those.
No,
I can do Tuesday, I can do Monday, I can do Friday, no, I couldn't do Friday.
What about the week after,
Week after.
the last week of the month?
Much better.
What day?
that's pushing us to.
So they want, are you wanting to be back on there, or you're gonna wait for decision, is that what you're?
Well, I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I'm trying to get this done as quick as I can for them, because they need to be
Let me
able
throw
to move
something
forward.
out there with that.
Okay.
They had already commenced working out there,
Okay,
and I got notification that I actually saw it myself. I called them, spoke to Mrs., and then the husband came in, I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. He came in and visited with me, and I had to make them stop working, because number one, it's not done properly at this
Well,
point for industrial use.
I don't think
They
anybody
don't
here is
have business
contesting
license.
the zoning, so if
Thing
we,
is, that they're not able to operate
right,
until.
and so we need to get you back up and going.
When
That's my thing.
when you're talking about the stop work, are we talking, what are we talking about?
As far as bringing trucks in and out and working on them, because it's zoned agriculture, and what they're doing is completely industrial.
So separate part from the
Yes,
office.
yes.
So we
That
could,
is
but I don't think
completely
anybody here, I mean, speak for wrong, we're not at least I'm not contesting the rezoning side. We can, I mean, I'll vote yes on that right now.
I'm working every
But
day that
if
we
we're
can
able
on.
to fix that problem, that allows you to get back, so I didn't know that was the case either, but,
Shoot that, you might ask if anything else from the public wants to speak on this, and if not, then take up 9G, which is the ordinance that would
does
actually.
anybody else, you go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'll offer a question. I don't know how much office space he needs, but I wonder if one of those portable buildings, some of those are pretty large and pretty nice. If it's portable, does it fall underneath, your zoning deal?
Be the same thing as regular.
That's
Yeah,
portable,
that's
They have
what
one.
kind of-
He has a small one there right now, like the
Yeah.
16 by
Yeah, just like a
30.
regular portable building.
But I think they're wanting more space, right?
Yeah, we need like, I need to have like 4 secretaries in there.
Good, man.
Would it help, I mean, for both sides, could we go ahead and look at approving the rezoning. That allows you to immediately get back to work, and then give us 2 weeks to have a special meeting, and she will let you know the exact date of that in case you guys want to attend, and to allow him to get caught up to speed. So if you may or may not know, we're very lucky to have this gentleman, but he's new to our team, right? Our previous attorney had passed away, and we were able to get him hired, and we're just trying to go through this book in as much detail as possible. If there's ordinance that needs to be updated or changed, or things that need to be fixed, we're trying to fix all those as we go.
Okay.
And allowing him some extra time because he's trying to learn every town you go to, this book's completely different. So, his job right now is to get fully up to speed on what's in that book and make sure that we're doing everything the right way. But if we solve the rezoning problem, that would allow you to get back to work, and then could we have, 10, 15 business days to have a hold a special meeting? We're gonna have to hold one anyway for finance stuff, and then we can add you to that agenda to get that either approved or at least get a solution to you as quick as possible. Is that okay?
If you could approve the rezoning, if that's the direction you're going, the rezoning and the lot split application, they would be able to come here tomorrow morning and apply for a business license.
Okay,
And back
get
to
to
work
work.
tomorrow.
Okay. Does anybody oppose that?
So, on the industrial side, fire department wise, have you,
I don't have that until this meeting, so.
It's
I'm
the
not
Canadian
sure.
County Water Authority, we can't put any kind of hydrants or anything out
right,
there.
so like the last one, it had like pond containment, stuff like that on, Pintail.
Oh, for runoff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is pretty flat.
Yeah, there's not.
We all have our different strengths and what
And
you're
then
talking about.
there is a fire hydrant, but it's at 29th and Asheville, right there at the corner of the Many. That's the closest one. Bush hydrant. But none of that was in notes of the planning commission.
They didn't say anything about any of that.
That's all right, but
Does anybody else have anything to add on whether they're for or against the rezoning?
Okay, and Mr. Mayor, I suggested it's 9G, which is the actual action item on the rezoning, which you're going to send it by ordinance.
Okay, we're gonna skip ahead to 9G, ordinance number 369, consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of rezoning 3755 Alphaville Street from agricultural A1 to industrial I1. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 9G for the acceptance of rezoning 3755 Alphaville Street from ag A1 to industrial I1.
I will second that. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So,
So 9H is now the lot split, taking one lot making it into two, essentially. Okay.
Separating it out from the 40-acre tract.
Right.
Separating that 5-acre tract.
Lot split application, 9H is, located at 3755 Alphaville Street. Consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of the lot split application for 3755 Alphaville Street. How many acres are you splitting off?
It's exactly, so essentially, because it's unplatted land, you rezone the piece of his property, now he's wanting to make it his own piece of property.
Right, correct.
So it's the exact same property you just rezoned.
Okay,
So
same.
wouldn't we have to do 9F?
9F was essentially to allow the public to participate, the actual rezone is 9G. You're doing rezone by ordinance, so 9F was worded as rezoning, 9G is the actual.
So we're still in the root 9F.
Did we have combined those two items?
Yeah.
In the past, I've been told to do it separately.
Yeah.
Okay, but we can combine.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so there's no
It's easier.
need for action on 9F, 9G is how you actually take the action.
All right.
9F will be no action. You can go take
Well, the
that.
action was taken under 9G.
Okay.
But combined.
You got that, Michelle?
I got it. Writing it down, writing it fast as I
So,
can.
let me ask the public if anybody wants to question the lot split. Yep, we're good. Does anyone here have any questions in regards to or any opposing or, on the lot split application?
And again, for explanation purposes, it's not platted land, and so the land we're talking about is the exact same land that just got rezoned. It's just now carving that out into its own lot, the part that just got rezoned. So it'll now be separate from the rest of the property. It's gonna have different zoning, no matter
Right.
what.
Anybody wanna speak? Okay. So, do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the lot split.
I'll second it. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
9 ayes, that, essentially our I and J, trees are the same.
Yeah, they could go together, yeah.
I mean, building permit.
The building permit is for the homes, and the other two will use it as office. Those could have been
So,
combined.
okay. And both of the, well, we'll probably combine those on the next.
They could have been.
We're gonna combine those on the next agenda, and we will put that in that special meeting that we're gonna have, so that we don't have to wait until the full next meeting. We'll try to get that ironed out for you guys as quick as possible.
But by
But-
doing these two that you just did, they can come in tomorrow morning and apply for your business license.
And we're sorry to kick this can down the road. I just think it'd be best to give him a little bit more time to get us caught up to speed, and then get that decision made for you guys. Does that help for now?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. I have a copy of your life insurance. Okay. Okay.
Alright, so if you guys, for tonight's purposes, have a 5 acre, a standalone 5 acre lot that is viable. And now you can proceed with the administrative side of it, getting all the permitting and business licensing taken care of, and then here in a couple of weeks, we'll have a special meeting, so we'll figure out the exact date, to talk about the office building project.
Thank you. And if you guys have any questions, you have Teresa's phone number? Okay. Okay, and you're welcome to contact us as well, if you have anything. Okay. That's it for
That was
that
the
one.
one I
Okay.
took.
Table 9A, 9J.
K, L, and M are those for properties that, are properties that aren't our
The
properties
town
anymore.
property.
Okay, so we can come back to those later. Did you have anything on the agenda, or you're just taking that? Okay, perfect, so no one else needs to be skipped ahead to? Okay. All right, we will circle back to the very beginning, and we will be on number 5. And you guys are welcome to stay, or you're welcome to go. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Number 5 is consent agenda items. All matters listed under consent are considered by the Town of Union City Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any Board of Trustee member may, however, remove an item from the consent agenda by request. A is approval of the minutes from February 9th, 2026. B is approval of the minutes for regular meeting March 9th, 2026. D is approval of the payroll and payroll tax purchases for June 2026. E is approval of the insurance and retirement purchase orders for June 2026. And F is approval of the utility purchase orders for June 2026. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve lot 5, A through F.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Number 6 is correspondence from citizens. Do we have anything? Number 6 is no action, right? There's nothing?
Correct, no action.
All right, number 7, financial reports. The regular monthly financial records for all funds are provided by the Board of Trustees for their review and information by Union City Treasurer Michelle Burns. At the close of business April 30th, 2026, bank balances are as follows. Capital Improvement Fund, Bank First, $362,991.48. Community Events is $4,755.51. Federal Asset Forfeiture is $11,199.69. General Fund is $39,767.62. Public Safety Limited Use is $131,186.17. State Asset Forfeiture is $14,448.09. Street and Alley is $14,207.90. Traffic Bond and Refund is $52,770.31. Union City PD Community Projects is $6,130.65. Union City Dispatch is $6,014.93. Union City Fire Department is $492,030.38. Union City Police Department is $157,313.79. So, let's talk general fund, the lowest it's ever been, and since I've been here?
I'm sorry, the Meachams,
Mhm.
let me say it that way, they're already working on that. That's gonna be part of the special meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, they have found quite a few places that they can move things around and budget better. That will help with that.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not that now, because we got our sales tax in.
Huh?
I said it's not that
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I'm just.
But at the end of the month, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is it now, after taxes were added, do you know?
I don't know, I'd have to go look again. 123 something. I'll have to go look. I'll look for you before we leave.
All right, and,
Speaking of, well, never mind.
Go ahead.
Because then I'm doing what you do.
Oh.
Never mind, we'll wait till we get there.
Okay. All right. And then the other concern that I had was the capital improvement bank balance, because we added $100,000+ for the property that came in, or that we sold. And then, we combined both bank balances, and now we're at $362,991. I need to make sure that that's accurate.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions in regards to budget? All right, resolution 2026-7, rules of conduct. Consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of resolution 2026-7, establishing rules for conduct for all meetings of the Union City Board of Trustees.
Mr. Mayor, this is pretty dense, and so I would not blame you if you guys wanted to chew on this for a month, but I wanted to walk through the resolution and just use a resolution that other communities have adopted and tweak them to address some ways that they've arguably not worked in practice. All right, so start from the premise that this is a meeting of the 5 people, if we have all 5 seats filled, a meeting of the 5 people that have been elected to have discussions and make decisions on behalf of the community. The Open Meeting Act is about being able to observe board transactive business, which includes discussion as well as votes. The Open Meeting Act does not allow for public participation itself. There are other statutes that allow for public participation. We've had one of them already when we talked about zoning. So when you're rezoning something, you have to have an opportunity for the public to provide feedback. Here, Michelle, at the special meeting, are we going to do the hearing at the special meeting, or are we going to do it at the regular meeting in June for the budget?
The special meeting is about the budget.
But will we have the public hearing on the budget at that one, or will we do public hearing at the June one?
Whichever one you want, because I have time to.
It doesn't really matter either way, but you gotta have a public hearing before you can vote on the budget.
Usually we wait till June.
That's
And that's
how
why,
most people do
that's
it.
why we're trying to get that special meeting in, so they can discuss what they have found, what they wanna do, how they can adjust things.
Closer to a final work product.
Yes, so that way in June, you're already aware, you already know what's going on, it's a matter of presenting it and having the hearing.
So you'll have certain items that you have a call to the public, because that's just part of the statute. Before you take an action like rezoning, adopting a budget, you have to have a public hearing. Beyond that, it's up to the board to decide if and when it will recognize the public to be able to speak and participate during meetings. The general rules, have your cell phones, noise-making devices on silent, no disruptive conduct during the meetings. If you've watched YouTube, you've seen some communities have that issue. Subsection E is the one that is extremely lengthy, and it's all about when you do recognize people to talk, what are the rules going to be? The importance of having rules, when you invite people to talk, there'll be times that what they have to say is going to be something that everybody up here is happy to hear, and there'll be times that they have something to say that you're not going to be happy to hear. The main concern from a legal standpoint is making sure that if you open it up to the public, that you afford everybody the same opportunity and have equal rules that apply no matter what it is that they're saying, whether you like it or don't like it. Towards that end, the primary things that you'd be looking at are what we call time, place, and manner restrictions. What I proposed in here is what most communities adopt, which is a per person limit of 3 minutes, a overall limit of 20 minutes. Now that wouldn't apply to public hearings where you have to, those public hearings will last however long people want to talk. But if it's just a call to the public that you want to have on your agenda, you want to have an overall time limit before you.
Are people allowed to, if let's say Jeff and his wife both attend a meeting, and Jeff gets his 3 minutes, can his wife can you put to where if such as where his wife can yield her 3 minutes too?
No, it's per person.
Per person.
Now, what we will often encourage, but we can't require, is, let's say there's something really contentious, you decide to have a non-required public hearing, you just decide to have calls to public. Well, there's a second restriction in here, which is the 20 minutes, but it's not part of the statutory required public hearing, there'll be an overall limit of 20 minutes.
An overall limit for everyone to talk has to be within 20 minutes?
For the public participation part.
Okay.
And again, these are all, like, we can change any of it.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to understand
What we will often encourage people to do is, if you're part of a group that's here to speak, if you have one person who can get up and speak and identify everybody that they're here to speak on behalf of, and I've seen people do it really effectively, where a person will get up, introduce themselves, and ask the people that are here speaking on behalf of to stand up, so you can get a visual representation of how many people are speaking.
But that's only if we have a call to,
Correct.
to vote. That, like, let's say, I'm just gonna keep using Jeff, because you're here. If Jeff comes into a meeting, he can't call for that ahead of time.
It has to be on the agenda.
Okay.
It has to be on the agenda. At the very end, there's a little paragraph down here that talks about when there are gonna be times, and you've already happened, where there might be somebody here who has factual knowledge of something that's important that you're considering. Are we asking for information, or are we asking for views? If, for example, Jeff lives across the street from the property that you were, let's say it was the property in question that you were just dealing with, and you wanted to recognize him to ask him, hey, something factual, not what's your view on this, but I can't think what it might be, like the speed limit out from on the street from your house. That would not be subject to these restrictions. We still ask for people's, factual information for people. That what also wouldn't apply to this is if there is somebody like, for example, the person who just here, where his property was on the agenda, recognizing him and asking him questions when, like, he would
Doesn't
have
apply to
to.
that, correct.
Right, because
Yeah,
this
is
is on the agenda. Okay, and so this is more, frankly, it's more what you've been calling correspondence from the citizens,
Correct.
which, when you look at that, you think you're just going to receive a document and move on, but in practice, it has been allowing citizens to stand up and say and speak.
Yep, so allow,
You don't have,
under this, we would allow them, the correspondence from citizens, they're allowed to stand up, they get their 3 minutes, they can provide any facts or documents to us at that time, and then.
They can speak on whatever they want to speak.
Correct, and then we can take all that information, and then in the next meeting, you either create an agenda item or address it in the next meeting.
And one of the things I put in there, it's, right after you see time restrictions, subject time restrictions, the third bullet point is an important one because of what we've seen here over the last few months. When we recognize the citizens' thoughts, it's their time.
Correct.
Yeah,
Don't interrupt
we don't interrupt them, we
Correct.
don't allow the people that are here to interrupt them, that is their 3 minutes.
Correct.
That's their opportunity to have their say, have their voice be heard, and we wanna make sure we're not interrupting them. Because one of the other things is, we also wanna make sure that your meetings aren't being disrupted by people interrupting you guys while you're engaging in the town business. And so it's not very fair for you guys to say they can't interrupt you if you're gonna give them time to interrupt them. So that's why that whole point was in there. If you're having a, for example, what we've been doing with correspondence from citizens, the only restriction on what they can talk about is it has to have something to do with the town business, town government. Doesn't necessarily have to be something on the agenda that has to relate to the town, so if they wanna get up and talk about how bad the schools are, or they don't like the school district, they don't like it, county commissioners, they don't like the city of El Reno, whatever it may be, like, it still has to relate some way to the town, but then it's just 3 minutes. If it's a public hearing, they have to confine their comments to something that relates to that public hearing.
Right.
So, for example, on what we just did, that would not be the time for somebody to get up under the guise of the public hearing on the rezoning to talk about, how bad the town's finances are, or how they think that money's been stolen, or anything like that. Like the time and the place, that public hearing is for that particular item. There's some language in here about if they bring something up during that, again, that corresponds from citizens or whatever we call it in the future. If the topic they raise does not relate to something on the agenda, I put it in here as clear as I could that you guys can't substantively discuss it because
It's not an agenda, correct?
well, and the whole idea behind the Open Meeting Act is transacting business, public has rights to transact the business of the town. Transacting business is more than just voting, it's a deliberative process.
They need to have.
And they have the right to know ahead of time what topics you're gonna take up and what you're gonna transact business on. So So if somebody came here and you had correspondence from the citizens, and they got up and spoke about something other than what was on the agenda, well, if you as a group start talking about it, now you're transacting business on something that the public as a whole didn't know that you'd be talking about. And so trying to put it in there that if they bring something up during the citizen correspondence from the citizens, that's on the agenda later, your time to talk about it is when you get to that item later in the agenda. And if it's not on the agenda, the only thing that you can do is ask the clerk to add something to the future agenda, so we can talk about it as a group. But as much trying to keep you guys out of trouble, it's also to make sure that the public knows ahead of time before the 5 of you are going to take up business, that they know what that business is. After that, you've got a couple items in there that essentially allow, if somebody is disrupting a meeting, you can ask them to leave. And the way that I would counsel to do that is to identify what the problem is, ask them to correct it, give them every opportunity to correct it, and if they continue to be disruptive, then ask them to leave. I will tell you, and I'll tell the PD exactly what I'm telling you guys, it does not give the mayor the power of contempt, like a judge would have, and so the mere fact that the mayor may think that somebody's being disruptive doesn't mean they're going to arrest somebody or exert their power. There are statutes that they can enforce, but they've got to independently confirm that those statutes are being violated. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that just because we have something in here that says the mayor is asking you to leave does not mean that police are going to enforce that unless they themselves determine that crime scene.
Yeah.
So I say that not because I think it's going to happen here, but because I have seen meetings, and you can see more and more.
If anyone knows me, I'm probably the worst at letting them talk too long.
Well, and Mayor, that's going to be for you and anybody else
Yeah.
that sits in that chair. That's what's very important is to enforce that 3-minute rule.
Correct.
Because it's very, I'll use the mayor who hired me at 4 Acres many years ago. We had a little stand timer that was 3 minutes, and he was really bad about when somebody was getting up talking, he liked what they were saying, stand timer would run out, and I'd do one of these and point at it, and half the time he would ignore me, because he didn't know what I was saying, and the other half the time he'd reach and he'd turn it over again and give him another 3 minutes. The only problem with doing that is if we make a deviation for one person, we've got to make it for everybody else. And so that is one of those, it's very easy to enforce these rules or ignore these rules when somebody's saying something that you like hearing. And it's very tempting to want to enforce them very strictly when somebody is saying something that you don't like hearing. But if you adopt rules, you got to apply them equally to everybody. So that you avoid any appearance that you're holding people's feet to the fire if you don't like what they're saying, but not if you like what they're saying. So it would change the way that you guys do your meetings. I mean, you've already seen it here today. You've called out members of the public and had them participate.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, for the production of the meetings, to stay on track and do things, we've needed structure. And that's what this is. This is a baseline for anybody that wants to read it of, kind of what we're considering and what we're kind of wanting to do. Go ahead, Jeff.
Does it have something about people stating their name and address?
That's a big one too, and I agree with him 110%, because I would like every person that does stand up to speak, I think they should have to state their name, first and last name, and their home address of where they live. Because I see that in a lot of other meetings, at other communities, and it's productive because it adds context to what we're doing.
In the way that we usually do those, yes, that doesn't count towards your 3 minutes.
Right.
So
right.
When we recognize somebody, name and address that they were going to jot down, and your 3 minutes are out of order. Yes.
That's good, Jeff. Thank you. I forgot. That's been on my thing.
But no, Jeff, it wasn't in there, but
it was.
I will add it. My suggestion, Mr. Mayor, there's no burning to vote on this today.
No, and
I encourage you to take it with you though and take a look at it, and if you have things that, something small you see is missing or something big that you've got a concern about.
I'm okay with kicking this down the road for 30 days. I think we need to read it very thoroughly. But I really am asking if everyone can make notes and bring this back, and let's have constructive conversation and get it done, because we've got to get this done. This has been an ongoing liability for everybody for a very long time, and we need to get it fixed.
So the only thing that will change from what you have in front of you right now to what you will see at your next regular meeting, right, would be anticipated that you vote on it. Okay. I will add a provision in there about when somebody is recognized.
Okay. In the next meeting, if we decide to come back, do we need to come back to you with revision ideas ahead of time? Or do we wait till the meeting, include it in the meeting, and then you can make revisions to it in real time? Or do we need to kick it down the road another 30 days so you can adjust it?
If you find something small, if you find a typo, something minor that you want added, if you can get that to me, I can have that ready for you at the next meeting. I bring my laptop to every meeting, so that if there are big wholesale changes, and honestly, there may be things where if it appears that you guys are disagreeing,
Yeah, we'll pick all time.
well, what honestly I'd recommend is that you call for a vote, somebody make a motion to amend the resolution in a particular way, so that it allows you guys to vote on whether or not you want to make that change.
And it can be somewhat of a fluid thing that we can make changes to as we go.
The reason we're doing this as a resolution is that the resolution is just a policy statement, it's not a local law.
And you guys have copies of this as well?
And you can change it.
I wanna hear feedback from you guys as well. Teresa, you sat in more of these meetings than any of us, so, but we just want structure, we want stuff to follow.
I like it.
And if anybody from the public asks for that,
Okay.
make it available to them, please.
25 cents a page?
Huh?
25 cents a page?
Yes.
I'll pay you 25 cents a page, Jeff, if you need a copy of it tonight. I mean, this is serious, I mean, I wanna get this done to get things better structured for future board members and ourselves.
What about the planning commission as
Yeah.
well?
Anybody have questions on this? Okay.
It will be a fluid document, so just whenever you adopt doesn't mean that's gonna be the policy a year from now, but it's a starting point, and then in application, you may wanna change it because it's not been working in practice, and so we can always change it.
Everybody good? Okay, moving on. 8A, Resolution 2026-8, special election. Discussion and possible action on a resolution calling a special election to be held August 25th, 2026 for the purpose of filling the remainder of the expired term for the vacant trustee position. Vacancy resulting from the resignation of Bob McGregor, term expiring April 27th.
2027.
I'm sorry, 2027. April of 2027 of next year.
Resolution's a little bit longer than I normally would have done, to be real blunt. There's not a lot of these that people have drafted and adopted because they don't usually go to the special election. The state limits when we can hold elections. The state requires that we give them 60 days notice. Because of that, the earliest election date that we can secure is the August date, which is the fourth Tuesday in August, which is the 25th. A little bit of a ways out. The filing period would be essentially the first 3 days of that bridge week at the end of June going into July, so it'd be June 29th, 30th, and July 1st would be the 3-day filing period. There's a provision at the very end of the resolution, and I put this in because I anticipate Michelle is going to get an awkward look from the secretary of the election board when she brings this to us, because it is not something that is normally done. The way the statute is worded, the filing period has to start no more than 20 days from the day that the resolution is due. The resolution is not due until the end of June. Because of that 60-day window, that we have to give them at least 6 days notice. I put language in there that allows Michelle to call the secretary, and if she disagrees with our interpretation, then Michelle can hold the resolution until that deadline day to make sure we secure the dates that we're asking for. As worded, they should be able to accept it tomorrow and still have the filing period be at the end of June, beginning of July, but they may give her some pushback, so that's why I included that verbiage, so that she doesn't have to come back to you and get a new resolution adopted. Because I'm very confident that the election board can look at her and not have a clue where to look to see what it is they're supposed to do. That's why it's also a little bit longer with the whereas clause, is that was as much education for you guys, but also for when Michelle gets it to them. I'm relying on my experience doing codifications where you do it, the full codification every 10 years, and every time you go to the county clerk, they look at you asking why on earth they're giving this to them, and I always bring the statutes with me so that they can see they have to accept it. So I was trying to give Michelle as much ammunition there so that the folks over at the election board can look at the statutes and realize why it is that we're doing this. Otherwise, it's pretty simple. Bob, I went and checked and verified this. Bob was elected starting April 2023, 4-year term, runs to 2027. The vacancy, the election is only filled for the remainder of the unexpired term, ending in April. So no matter what happens in August, that seat will be on the ballot when they file in February for the term that starts in April. Correct. So this person, I mean, the way that this plays out, the election's held in August. If there are 2 or more people, if only one person files, they're elected as soon as that filing is officially certified, and they start immediately. It's not one of those where there's a delayed start because they're filling the unexpired term. They expect immediately. If we have an election in August and there's only 2 people, then whenever that election is certified, that person is immediately sworn in and able to start acting as a trustee. If we have 3 or more people, God help us, because then if nobody gets a majority at the August election, then the top 2 go to the November election, which will presumably have a much higher turnout, because it's the statewide elections. So if there are 3 or more and nobody gets a majority,
And they'll serve for 5 months.
and that's the downside of this,
Yeah.
is that if we have 3 or more and nobody gets a majority, then it reduces the amount of time.
Right.
But this is what's required,
So can a sitting board member apply for that open seat?
Ironically, yes. It's what we call dual office holding, where if somebody that was on board and ran for that seat, they continue to hold their board position unless they get elected, and then at that point in time, the act of swearing into a second office vacates the first office. I would not encourage anybody to do that.
This government.
Somebody's looking for an out.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna see that sometimes.
Would you just rather sit over here, because we can move you around the table?
We're
Coming up.
I've seen that, and I'll use 4 Acres as an example. We had one of our city council members who ran for the mayor at large. She still had 1 year left on her term, so she was gonna be on the council no matter what. She ran for mayor and she won, and so by virtue of, as soon as she got sworn in as mayor, she had to resign what was our Ward 4 council seat to take the office of mayor. And then that created vacancies for Ward 4 that is still not filled.
That makes sense, though, in that scenario.
Yeah, this seat doesn't make any sense, but if somebody, for example, if this seat was a 25 election that had until 29, and there was somebody expiring in 27.
Done.
And I don't know which one it does, it's expiring in 29, but if it was one of those seats and the expiration was April 29, and somebody was expiring in 27 wanted to try and buy certainty to have a couple more years, that would be a reason they might run for it, is they would guarantee themselves 2 more
I don't
years.
think that's the reason.
Anyways, ironically, you can vote on it this month, you can vote on it next month, because the deadline to turn it in is, I put it in there, I think it's June 26th.
I don't oppose it, does any favor, if someone vote, let's just go ahead and, if someone wants to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2026-8,
I'll second it.
special election.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If you have any issues with them, let me know, but I tried to put everything in there. I'm already anticipating that they're gonna look at you like you got a 3rd arm growing out of your head.
Yeah.
But I tried to put everything in there so that they can look it up themselves.
Okay, let's get to the table. Number 9, Department of Union City Code Enforcement. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and information by Union City Code Enforcement Officer Teresa Woolard. Operational report.
This is my report.
So I have a question. On the Oklahoma Communication Systems,
Yep.
no, Waste Connections of Oklahoma. So how does that figure where there's some that's OMA, Waste Connections, and all that like out by Manor?
In our city limits,
Yeah.
I would direct most of Waste Connections,
That's the blue one, right, with the star thing?
Veterans, and one other one that I contacted. These got an official letter. I tried calling and trying to talk to them, explain the process for what they could do. They were not interested in talking to me. So we had to talk to the property owner. That was my next phone call. She said she had no idea it will be removed. This company, it's not worth it to them to pay that permit for just 2 or 3 in town. And that's normally what happens when I call. I said, nope, we gotta pay those kind of permit fees, then nope. They have to be permitted in order to set their dumpsters here. And right now, the only company that's permitted is OEMA. But I provided them with the ordinance and all the information on what they could do, even the application, if they chose to move forward with it. They just don't have enough. Usually when I contact them, they just pull their dumpsters, which I hate for the residents, but unfortunately.
Cause the town doesn't make anything up.
No, but unfortunately, that's the way it's worded, you have
I
to.
mean, even OMA that's out east or west or wherever, we don't get any of that, it's just right here in town proper.
We do get a host fee from OEMA, and we get so much per dumpster on the outlying area. We do get that each month, it's permit fee. So we do collect that each month. Not a lot, but it's like $2.50 a dumpster.
Is there a way of leveling up the trash service across the whole Union City? Because I don't really feel like it's fair that my dumpster is like whatever, I'll get it on the water bill, it's like $18. If you live out off Banner and you want that same dumpster, it might cost you $70 a month. And it's still, they could be zoned the same, you know, it's like five zone residential, their zone residential, it's that same zoning, same city, and everything. Like, it seems like it would be, more fair to the residents if we could provide trash service to the entire extent of Union City.
We only have control over the ones that are our water customers here.
Yeah, but if we could send bills out, I mean, that could be a bill thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, why has it always been that way? I mean, why is it?
It's like the,
I
it's
mean,
like.
why
when
does it
you
not
get into
include
the-
everyone that's not within our city limits?
My understanding,
It's like address wise too,
yeah,
on tax basis, like, it's like City of El Reno, it's like, there might be a City of El Reno address, a Yukon address as well.
there was stuff there, it was, the way it was explained to me was because a lot of times we have no way of knowing who's moving in or out of those properties. We're sending the bill to Jimmy over here, you know, thinking he's the one that's got this trash service. Well, Jimmy moved out 3 months ago, and the new people, they had no idea. We've just lost that. That's what it explained to me. We have no control over who they are, and a lot of times, I don't have the addresses, I don't have, you know, correct contact information. I do try to update every single month, you know. Matter of fact,
I agree, yes, in my mind.
I agree.
Every single house that's inside of Union City city limits should be built through here and pay the same price.
And you might visit OEMA, as a rep, and see if there's an option.
But we just can't hold them on anything. The other thing is,
That's the thing, yeah,
they know that they're late, say Union City calls them and they're late, well, then their trash is gonna mound up.
And then
6
I
feet out of the deal.
For code violation. Whereas if they don't pay their bill now here in town proper, she's gonna shut their water off.
Right. But I mean, in that sense, you should have the ability to call and say, don't pick this trash address up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surely they have an exclusion list. That's the only way they have it hold accountable too. It's no different.
And I don't know why the contract's always been like that with OEMA, you know, I had nothing to do.
Is that what's happening though? Is there people out there that are paying that kind of money for?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it really, like, with the.
You mean for like a regular tote or like for like a?
For just a poly car.
They're paying $70 a month?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you live up here, you have a trash can?
Yeah, the
You don't know what it costs, man?
But if the city's charging a permit or from these other trash services, it's doing a disservice to the citizens because it's not keeping competition with the trash service, so OEMA has a monopoly on it and they can just charge whatever they want out there. And if I was out there, I'm gonna burn trash, you know?
My understanding with that is the reason it's a different rate, because they might drive 2 miles to get one dumpster, where they drive 1 mile in town and get 40 or 50, so they couldn't be the same rate. That's what I was told. Does that make sense?
Spreader, it's all city limits stuff.
I understand, but I'm saying that's why it costs more. Sound like CK Energy, LG&E.
It's so much more though, like, I don't understand how.
Oh, I don't have any idea what it costs them.
The big trash cans.
Because they can charge whatever they want.
Tuesday.
What else are you gonna do?
But there are two companies, at least two companies that service that area.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
A little bit of capitalism taking place there, but unless.
I think it is waste connection. The light blue with the, like, the red,
Waste connector.
yeah.
I'm not
I'll-
guessing, I just don't know how you'd ever,
Yeah.
it'd be tough to, like you said, you
And that's the way.
the only way we know when somebody moves here, they come in and change their water, you know? That would be.
And there's also like a lime green one, and I don't know what the company that one is.
There's nothing written on the line.
But there'll be the lime green one, there'll be an OMA, and there'll be a veterans, and they'll all be on the same street.
So
But this is not in our area, this is up north.
I'm gonna interject here. We're within the item because there was a unfortunate relationship to provide service without a permit, but we're starting to deviate into a different item, which is Which is a good item to have for the next agenda, and if I can get a copy
I will-
of the OEMA contract to see if it's the
Yeah.
transfer. Yeah, without reading all the video.
And then Keith is our representative.
Yeah,
with
I'll call
Roland.
Nate.
Yeah,
Well, and I've got questions whether it's a contractual restriction.
Yeah.
Because there's solutions, if they don't have water for how we would track it.
Yeah.
That may all be bad solutions, but there are at least some options.
whereas out there we do not.
And so, but
That's why I like
we can have that as an item for discussion at the next one. Essentially, options for track service that for people who don't have water.
Teresa, do you try to look in the backyard?
Do I look in the backyard? If I can see them from the street, you've got one close to there that, yes, sir. I've been watching for a couple of weeks.
But the back is growing from my fence right up this house.
Can I peek over your fence?
If you invite code in,
That's fine.
can't just come into your backyard just because, but she has to be able to view it from a lawful vantage point, which if you invite her into your backyard and she can see something from your backyard without crossing over into theirs, we're good.
And I've had people do that, invite me over. That's a good thing.
Go to the elevator.
Give me a call. No.
You get you some safety harnesses.
It's not like everybody doesn't have a high resolution,
Yeah,
camera in their pocket, but
Exactly.
can send her pictures.
I've done that before.
Yes,
Stay on your
we have
property.
addressed it. He's actually loaned a lawnmower.
Does that mean if I record the pigs that are halfway down the street squealing, I can bring that in?
You mean the ones that before he got rid of?
Once they're in the street.
They live down the road.
Okay. But they just went from taking the street to taking the street.
That will be back on the agenda next month, because he has to come back for a review. I have pictures,
Try to get pictures.
so it's something that goes on the other side. There's already a violation, and he has to come back. We got 60 days. Sounds like we have another issue again.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Teresa? Okay. Item number 10, water and sewer non-franchise permit. Consideration possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of a water and sewer non-franchise utility permit with fees to be established by Board of Trustees for a utility facility on the town of Union City right of way.
9A. You said.
Oh, sorry, 9A, I apologize. 9A. Anybody want to elaborate?
This is the same thing that we've been going over.
Yeah, we just
Same
need
one we got.
price, what we're gonna charge them to be able to come in here.
You guys are gonna have to come up with a price before we can move forward. And that's what we were waiting on before, prior attorney was going to check into some other communities and see the best way.
Is there something that, like, say we say a price, say $200, or whatever it is.
Thank you.
I don't know, whatever the price may be. Could be like price plus, of any damages was, to pay the repair. To have legal standing on the.
This was set up not for that, it was set up to have them, like, you charge them a permit to come in and put the fiber down or whatever it is, just like you charge me to build a house.
Right.
It had nothing to do with it, get a line or something, that was totally different.
Yeah, that becomes a civil issue.
Yeah.
And there are circumstances under which they can't be held liable if we don't do our job.
Right.
And if we do our job, we can go after them and hold them liable. But this is just, that's the difference between us as a property owner and us as a government. This is about us as a government allowing them to utilize the right of use that's been granted to us. And whether or not, if we're gonna do that, whether or not we're going to charge them a fee.
So what's some of the examples of the fees, though? You don't have that? No fee?
The ones that we have are.
I gave you
so
one
old.
time,
Yeah.
a example, our engineer's the one that originally came up with this. And, I think, I can't remember if it was Marlo or somebody, anyway, he sent an example that I sent,
Yeah,
that we turned in a couple times, and I don't remember what the numbers
and I
were.
don't have a copy.
Some of
that
them, he said, that some of them did different, like, could be per connection, let's just say, I started internet company, and I did 100 houses per connection, some do it per foot, so it kind of,
Cause they're making money off of it year round,
And depending
after
on,
they're done with their install.
and depending on what it is they're selling, sales tax may apply.
Yeah. Just like phone bill.
And it's also another way for them to have to submit plans to you guys to be, so we can see what they're gonna do, so we can say, you know, we need that alley for water expansion or whatever. It gives you, right now, you can't really stop them, so they can just go where they want.
Submitted plans and also through plan review,
Right.
make sure they know where our lines are.
Right. All of that together.
As of right now, I don't know a lot of times when they're gonna make it, or where they're going to be putting their sign.
Is something you've already brought up
Oh,
or has been working on?
I've got, I just need a price. I've got it working. I'm sorry guys, I just don't have a clue. I don't know what's fair, I don't know what's normal, I don't know.
And we don't have to let everybody that wants to come in here, put
Yeah.
something in the ground, put it in.
Agreed, yeah, 100%. Well,
You don't want.
well,
Or that because of that one person, we have to let everybody.
if you're going to authorize it, then you're gonna authorize it subject to the regulations that you adopt, but there wouldn't be a way to say yay or nay to one particular company but not another. That would then be using your power to the government, put your thumb on the scale, and dictate who can operate in town. And that's where you have that ability, well, actually, you don't, your system to, when it's a franchise, like electric. That's why we have the provision in the Constitution that requires for a franchise election, for the citizens to vote on it, and generates a lot of extra money for the community. When we're talking about things like the internet, the courts have essentially held that because it's regulated at a federal level, our franchise requirements don't apply.
Cause then they passed a deal like, mine did a few years ago where fiber should be available on any home in the rural communities or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and the main issue here is, if this were anything else, it would be a franchise issue, and they wouldn't be able to operate in town unless the voters approved. Not you, but voters. But when we're talking about telecommunications, we're talking about an industry regulated at the federal level, and the state law essentially said they don't care what our constitution says about franchises. We can't use that to keep them out. Can we require permitting? Sure, absolutely.
Would this, also cover like pipelines,
What kind of pipelines?
like there's a ton around?
Oil and gas. and
That's the
stuff.
one thing he had mentioned was like if they wanted to bring a 24-inch pipeline down this road full of gas or whatever, you know, would you have to go that as well?
That's gonna be regulated by the Corporation Commission. I've looked at it from the standpoint of telecommunications, but I haven't looked at it from the standpoint of.
I don't know, that's
gas.
just one thing that's, there's some saltwater ones, there's some gas.
That's easy
there's some
enough
oil.
to look up to see if that's gonna trigger a if that's gonna get us back into a franchise election, or if that's gonna fall into one of those exceptions.
Is that
to
just,
franchise.
is this franchise just for local? Like city,
You're talking about town proper?
town proper, or all of Union City?
Well, and so, to be clear, what we're talking about here, at least what I understand what we're talking about, they've got business. Their business requires that they have a line to be able to run to somebody's property. Where are they gonna run that line? You've got right away that is running across people's property, but grant of use has been given to you to use that property for particular purposes. They can include utility services. It is you allowing somebody else to use the grant of use that's been given to the town for their business. And so, they can secure it if they could get people to give them easements across the back part of their property and to run the lines that way, and cobble together enough easements so they can get a line run. This is about just being able to run it through your right way.
Cause oil and gas, just for their permits, like $7,500, right?
And they have to get, you know, the easements from each of the signed off by each of the property owners.
That's the drill one, though, right?
Yeah, that's the drill, that's for oil and gas.
I mean, what we're talking about is
Yeah, totally different.
internet lines running, essentially down your streets, which is within your right of way. They don't have their own easement to rely on. That's why they are coming to you, because they want to use your easement, what essentially is your easement, which are the right of way, to run their lines.
Yep.
What price do you go with?
Some $1 billion companies, some of them.
And the price might vary depending on how much area that we're talking about. I mean, that's part of it.
That's why I like the per foot roll or connection roll, because it's based off.
Well, per connection, or is it per mile?
Maybe
Yeah.
per mile.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, to get to town proper, you're gonna have to run a line distance to get there.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about services generating tax revenue, that's gonna come into the town.
And then, I mean, that's because you can't talk about grandfathered in either, because some of those lines they've already put in are probably already outdated. So they're
Like
too
Cox
small.
Communication, they had to come from.
And then they'll
you know,
just come back
every-
out
all
and
the way
redo
down
it
just to
again.
get to Optimum.
They don't allow
Do what?
don't allow grandfather.
Well, what you'd be doing is taking them out of the shadows and making them, the way that I've got an ordinance ready to go is, it would be an annual thing. And so for the ones that are already here, they have to start coming in to get an annual permit.
So the annual permit is just a flat annual permit rate, not based on mileage.
Well,
Mileage is
how
pretty
it's determined would be completely up to you guys. I mean, your community's a little different than some of the other ones where they're more packed in, and so the first mile to get in, they've already got customers they can service.
You know, Cox, when they went in over last fall, they put in 1.5 inch, 2 inch conduit underground. So if their fiber goes bad or something, or they update it to a 50 pair,
They're just sliding
they can
50
slide another 50 pair right through it, go to your handhold. TDS, it might be all direct buried,
To replace it, they gotta replace it.
and they gotta, yeah.
Whole thing.
Ancillary.
Huh?
Ancillary now, not TDS.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
They sold out.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, like I said, I've got an ordinance. I'll put it on the agenda with a blank in it for how you price it.
I mean, that way you have, I mean, I hate to be that way, I just don't know, like, I mean, I don't know what's fair, I don't know what's, it's not my forte, but we can, I mean, if there's other communities similar to ours that we could call that has something like this, that'd be nice, but
A lot of them just don't have anything on the books to address it yet.
Maybe we don't, that's just engineered.
yeah, I'm all about small government, but my thoughts are, at the same time, is when they start shutting stuff in or putting stuff in without kind of going through, you know, code enforcement or going through the town to make sure that they're putting them in areas that, number one, that we know are there, so you're not cutting them in half when you're trying to repair water lines and that sort of thing, but,
Well, once they're in, they have,
yeah,
they'll be part of Okie.
yeah, that's true.
But let me also just say, because I said it'd be small government as well, if there are lines already in there, those are lines run across people's property.
Yeah,
They're using their property without a grant of use.
and I agree.
Okay, so that's where you were given a grant of use by those property owners, and the ability to allow others to use it, but if they haven't gotten your permission, then their lines are run across a whole bunch of people's properties without any permission, without any grant of use. So that's part of, government, how small government needs to be, but it still needs to be able to enforce the rules and protect property owners. All right, I will, it's a little bit of a longer ordinance, I'll try and get it to Michelle so that she can send it out to you guys, so you can look at it ahead of the next meeting. Like I said, I'll just have blanks in there on the pricing side, but
Okay.
where I'm gonna leave a little bit of wiggle room is, most of them do it as just, a lot of them do it as flat fee, but those are also communities that don't have a lot of more rural area coming into town where you're gonna have a lot of line run to get to where the customers will be.
Right.
So there might be logic to pricing them based on distance.
Okay.
All right, anybody have any questions? Okay. 9B, General Shell Brick Company, the following correspondence and possible actions are provided to the Board of Trustees for discussion regarding establishing requirements and actions to take for allowing travel trailers to park on the property of General Shell Brick Company at 20575 Southwest 44th Street in Union City, Oklahoma. And they
One
have,
more time, he did not show up like he said he would, I requested he just remove it from the agenda
okay,
until he comes back again.
okay.
I
We'll just
requested
remove
it.
that from the
Do you
agenda.
agree? We've had it on there for several
There'll be
months.
no action on 9B and a removal for next month.
Well, do you want no action, or do you want to act to deny it? Because the person hasn't shown up. I mean, it got on here because of a request for approval, but the person hasn't shown up, so
the third month it's been on
You,
there.
you can do it either way.
Yeah.
So technically, you had a request from somebody that has not acted on one way or the other.
Last month he said, he was trying to finish up a big job, there was just no way he could get here. He tried to be here tonight, so we left it on there. So I don't know.
My recommendation would be that, one, you make a motion to deny the request, subject to being reapplied for, but to go ahead and act on it, so that it's not just hanging open as a request that you never acted on.
Okay.
I make a motion to deny 9D for allowing travel trailers to park at the property of General Shell Brick Company, 20575 Southwest 44th Street in Union City,
With the ability to apply in the future.
ability to apply in the future.
I'll second it. We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nine C, planning commission minutes. Consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of approving the planning commission minutes from April 23rd, 2026.
It primarily consisted of what you guys just approved.
Okay,
We've done.
I'll make a motion we approve.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nine D is merging planning commission and floodplain board.
There's a very simple ordinance there, I don't know if that will work. So I would go ahead and bring it to you because, we've been trying to do this for a very long time.
Ordinance 368,
Yeah,
okay, I'll read 9D.
and that we're going to do something different.
Merging planning commission and floodplain, consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of merging the planning commission board and floodplain board. So go ahead and read 92, they're kind of together.
Yeah, you can read it, you don't have to read any particular item for organizational purposes, if you wanna tell them where you're at on the agenda, but.
Right.
Much like the rezone 9D, 9E, E is where they're actually gonna act.
Okay.
Are we discussing, debating under D or E, they're one and the same.
Okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read 9E and then we can make a decision. Ordinance number 368, consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance for, ordinance number 368 to merge the planning commission board and floodplain board.
As a cleanest, the ordinance would just simply say, effective immediately, the floodplain board will be combined with the planning commission.
I thought it was basically, that's all there was to it, so that's how I did it.
Planning commission will perform the duties of the floodplain.
And the concept behind that is it's trying to find 5 more people to participate.
Exactly, and it's not something.
And we don't have a lot of planning commission meetings anyway, so we can
Correct.
combine those and how often do you deal with flood commission stuff per year?
Like that, I do a lot of floodplain permits, but
Yeah.
unless it's for a development, that's something that's just.
Yeah, so I mean, they're
that goes to
kind
code
of
enforcement.
just-
My biggest thing about getting this established is because I know I'm gonna need a floodplain board when they start to develop the
Right.
property on Park Drive. I will
Okay.
most definitely have to have,
And there's logic to having
Over here.
overlap, because,
it would help me tremendously.
well, the planning commission, part of what, some of the issues that they need to be looking at when they're dealing with that application that comes before them are things that the floodplain, will be looking at as well.
So I make a motion we approve, 9E and accept the ordinance 368. Have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Michelle, I've signed, you have to sign, and then, I don't know if I want to notarize it.
Perfect, thank you.
And now, we're jumping all the way to 9K.
Usually town property. I went ahead and did the lot split for all 3 after reaching out to Keith. You guys, in order for the bridge to close on the property, we have to have the lot split completed. So it made sense to do them all.
We need all of these to split off of that property so that we can finish the closing on the Briggs' property.
And they'll all still be zoned agriculture until they change.
Yeah, there's
this
nothing to
doesn't
do with the
affect
zoning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just to separate them.
just the split, lot split. I'll go ahead and read them real quick just to get through the formality. I know you say we don't have to read things, but I've always done that.
No, you
We have just so the people listening, looking
It was
good.
largely saving you.
Yeah, thank you on that, for sure, yes. The 9K is the lot split application for tract 1, consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of the lot split application, tract 1, which is 2.73 acres located at 20915 Highway 152 in Union City, Oklahoma, 73090. Can I just go ahead and do all 3 and then we can?
You'll have no vote on something, but that way you can explain it.
9L is lot split application for tract 2, consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, of the acceptance of the lot split application for tract 2, 10 acres located at 301 Park Drive, Union City, Oklahoma, 73090. Agenda item 9M is the lot split application for tract 3. Consideration and a possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of the lot split application for tract 3, 1.10 acres located at 20875 Highway 152 in Union City, Oklahoma, 73090.
Mr. Mayor, these, much like the last one they just had here earlier in the meeting, these crack me up because sometimes the county will want you to do a lot split. Where a lot split is required is a property has been platted, and so lots have been legally defined, and then to change lot boundaries, you gotta have a lot split. These are unplatted, much like those gentlemen who've been here before, these are unplatted properties that can be sold off by legal description, but to help make closing easier, they want there to be an action that formally define new lots, even though it's unplatted area. So if that's what we need to be able to make it move forward, then
Track 1 is the commercial, what you guys have been saving for commercial on the frontage of Highway 152.
the part that will still be owned
The
by
part
the
that
town.
is still going to be owned by the town of Union City. Track 2 is the 10-acre tract that was sold to Riverton Haven. And then track 3 will be the Briggs property that they are purchasing.
Given the transactions that have already been in place, I think it's very easy to recommend approval of all three of these.
I agree. So do I have a motion for 9K?
I'll make a motion to approve the 9K.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. 9L lot split application for tract 2, I have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 9L.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Three for three.
Do I have a motion for 9M?
I'll make a motion to approve 9M.
I have a motion, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Three for three, four for three, that's what you all said.
Thank you, guys.
Number 10, Department of Union City Police Department. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review, consideration, and possible action, and for informational purposes by Chief Taylor, who is absent tonight, and Mr. McCarty is filling in tonight.
Yes, sir.
I guess congratulations to Lieutenant James Hall for retirement.
Yeah, that, and then, had a stop on April 24th, marijuana money in the vehicle seized, from the grows down south, so we're trying to get that pretty hard.
How much you hold?
Huh?
How much you hold?
112 pounds. Yeah, that, so, one of the things, I know that the training for the police department, I know we put it on here, but, the guy who actually pulled that, did that stop, was actually the guy who's in some addiction training. So his training is coming to fruition, and he's doing really well with it, so we're happy to see that.
Chief Taylor, yourself, are y'all doing anything for Hall?
Yes, we are, but we haven't
Okay.
decided what. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions?
All retiring, you guys gonna be looking to fill it?
Not at the moment.
Moving to agenda number 11, Department of Union City Fire. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action, informational purposes by Chief Jones.
Should I report, nothing really unordinary, 19 calls. But I did tell a little bit of the bill on here, I just now noticed. Because technically this is April's, stuff, and the training I went to was actually May the 2nd, so, sorry. during the month of the fireworks training in Kansas, actually March the second, so, May the second.
I forgot to ask on the fireworks thing, back to the total budget number that we had set aside for that, which was $6,700. Is that enough money? I forgot how much the fireworks were gonna cost.
Around 8,000, but I budgeted part of that to do fire.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought we were gonna be short, so
No,
fire will pay for a portion of it, and then.
Yeah, but that every year.
But you have the money you need to do that?
Yes, it's already in, that's it for, the current budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting more expensive every year. To even just try to keep the same display size,
Like everything, it's amazing. Do any questions on anything?
I do not. Anybody else? Okay. Alright. Agenda item number 11A, CFA grant, consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or acceptance of applying for the 2027 Community Fire Assistance 80/20 reimbursement grant.
So I have to get your permission to apply for this, and then we apply, obviously, and, see if we get it. What we're gonna apply for is airbags and cribbing. And what airbags does is they're real flat. Say you had somebody cuffed under a house or a big one, you shot them in, and air them up real quick, it gets it off of them, or there's different things, but that's what they're for. And then you cribbings to, like, hold it up, shore it up, different situations. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how much, that grant's worth,
Okay. Yeah.
We have to have our permission to move forward with that, which I do have a lot of them on the budget to cover that 20% already.
Okay. We have a motion for 11A.
I'll make a motion to approve the acceptance for applying for the 2027 Community Fire Assistance 80/20 reimbursement.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, David, for doing that. Number 12, Department of Human City Emergency Management, the following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action, informational purposes by Chief Jones.
The, sirens, the only thing he's talking about are ordered and should be in any time.
Okay. Good deal. No action on 12. Anybody have any more questions? Number 13, Department of Union City Animal Control. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by Animal Control Officer David Jones.
Report attached, pretty routine month, well, actually a little bit less routine, which is great. As you can see, 3 dogs successfully transferred to their rescue and 1 returned to owner. Of course, there's multiple animal cows out and different things, usually the police usually have most of those, but, so I usually don't put them, he's on his list somewhere too, but, normal routine stuff.
Number 14, Department of Union City Streets and Alley. The following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action, informational purposes by Streets and Alley Supervisor David Jones.
I'll have to report here as well, just normal stuff, obviously with that rain, grass is fixing to start off again. As far as 152, they're going to brush hog it the first time, I learned, which is great. So hopefully they find all the bad stuff.
Yep.
And then, that should be pretty quick, if they're done with it, I'm not gonna say they.
When it's open, I want the biggest announcement you've ever put on our.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna drop down like you do.
Shove that tractor back over on there.
Yeah.
Jeff's like, no. Yes.
Is your tractor set up to mow those?
No, we're gonna see.
Most of those are highway tractors that they mow with, and they ballast them and stuff, they weigh them up where they can handle those slopes.
Don't they widen the rear axle?
Banner 152, and I pulled a chunk of cushion out of the seat whenever I backed off that same tractor.
Not just a goner, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know,
Don't they widen the rear axle too on some of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can, but, I don't know, I mean, our tractor's it's not just for mowing, that makes sense, it's a normal tractor. We've never had it where, those pond dams are pretty steep too, but,
They say those are 3 to 1. I'm in, I put my level on it and stuff.
Are they?
But it's all I want.
yeah, I don't know, I think we're gonna be interested to see what, they go in the first time, and he said there was any trouble, where they're having trouble, they were gonna address it, but, I don't know if you noticed it.
But you and Hunter are the only two that ever drive the tractor for
Correct.
mowing, right? So just,
Yeah.
obviously make sure Hunter knows that not to do anything.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
low gear, getting going,
Yeah, but at any point, we'll
watching each other, I'll probably do it first, we're not just gonna bail off, trust me, it's pretty spooky,
yeah.
there's a couple of times I've backed off and they're in different places, and like you said, seat cushion got real tight, but, and then dirty, but I don't know, just looking from the outside, it looks like there's some pretty steep places.
We have non-emergency management, animal control has no animals right now.
How far are they?
Boy, you shouldn't.
How far are
Oh,
they?
Put it out there.
He knows, I'm fine when I'm calling him, hey.
Anyway, that should be pretty quick, talking to them, and then, obviously you're aware 152 started, that's a really neat process they're doing there.
81,
I'm sorry, 81, George said.
it really is.
And then,
I was so excited about it, I called David, you gotta come see this. They literally pull everything up, they're shearing it all off, they're scraping it all off, it all regenerates, and then goes right back.
and then mine today gets another layer on it, so.
Yeah.
When I finish, but, anyway, it's gonna be awesome once it's done, 'cause it was, as you know, all of us stayed in the left lane, you had to. Nobody.
It was like a hammer lane, 15 to ring.
Why did they start on the left lane?
I don't know why they do that, I don't know why they, to me, they're just one side or the other, but.
And they're taking their trucks all the way to Minko, why? To park.
I guess.
My wife
We're
asked
not
that same
parking.
question.
No,
Some of their trips are parked at the yard, but,
Oh, yeah.
or you want to.
How far are they down 152?
Well, I didn't think about parking at your yard.
Last time I went down, it was last week, they were at, just past Richland, I believe, wasn't it?
They're past Frisco now, it's
Are they?
all the
Yeah.
way over here.
Yeah, so.
I have official business.
He told me, when he got there, he thought they was gonna start dropping.
There's a lot of people with just official business going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, more. But it'll be definitely, I don't know how many of y'all, when I moved here in 97, 81 was scarier than 152 was, so narrow, so it's really changed over the years. But, as far as in town and stuff, everything's good, county did some, drainage work, culverts and things, and helped out a lot, so, everything good.
Number 15, Department of Union City Town Clerk Treasurer, the following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by Town Clerk and Town Treasurer Michelle Burns.
I don't have anything really exciting happening on mine either. Since we already know Bird Associates is on a pause, we have the Meachams who are actively involved in helping us with budgets, with cleaning up QuickBooks, with lots of things.
When Meacham comes in for our special meeting, I would like for him to talk to them about the audit differences between what he's proposing and what we've been doing.
Okay.
Can you tell him to please add that to that so we can all,
Sure.
everyone here, we can kind of kill two birds with one stone on
You
that?
bet, yeah.
Cause we gotta get that done. If that's the route we're gonna go, we should be able to turn Burn Associates back on and have them start that process, if that's what the board decides to do.
Right. So, yeah, we already know about the property, cause we've discussed that, the Griggs property and so we know about that. Really, that's about it. Everybody has been really careful at regulating spending, so I know my inventory levels are still sufficient, and we haven't really had to spend a whole lot. Most of it is office products, like paper. Had to buy paper a lot. But other than that, there's really nothing special out there on it.
notations in our financial statements about, all the different funds and restrictions on funds that he isn't sure why they're marked as restricted, and so he's tasked me with trying to figure out if there's anything I can find that would indicate why they've been marked as something old, or, it's just the way that we're noting things on our financial statements. It would read as though we have legal restrictions on how we can spend the money as opposed to just budgetary decisions that you have made on how to allocate the money.
We have, Teresa was very helpful with that today as well. Connor and I Connor works with, it's Russ Meacham's daughter, but she works in that office. We worked together for a couple of hours on the phone on that same subject, and Teresa was able to go 2019, I think.
I went all the way back to 2009.
And we found where the bank accounts were started, the minutes that went with them. We're not finding restrictions on most of them. Now, the last one we did,
Special projects and capital
public
improvement.
safety, limited use, I had all of it for him. Connor was telling me today that, it's a good thing if we don't find restrictions on most of them, because that's how they're going to help. I told you they would be addressing that general fund on our special meeting, because we don't have restrictions on a lot of funds, we're able to juggle better, and they're gonna tell me how to do that whenever we get together.
When we're talking restrictions, the easiest way to describe it is, if you have a sales tax election where, as part of approving a sales tax increase, the public restrict how you can spend a portion of it, that's what we call legally restricted money, which is why you have to have a separate fund set up for it, so that you properly account for and make sure that you don't spend it on things you're not supposed to spend on. And an example of why that's so important was what happened in Utah here, what was that, 10, 12 years ago, where they were spending restricted money on non-restricted purposes, and they had to move money around and stuff, their general fund. There's another category we call assigning, which is you could have a decision made by the board to dedicate a portion of a certain revenue stream. It could be sales tax, it could be any other revenue stream, and say that we're only going to spend it on this. That money would then become assigned. You want to put it in its own fund so you can account for it, but because it's been assigned by the governing body, it can be unassigned and moved over. And then the last is just unrestricted money. That's what it appears. The way Russ described it to me is that somewhere along the line many years ago, funds were set up and a notation was made that they're restricted when it wasn't restricted. It was budgetary decisions. How you decided the budget, for things were being marked as legal restrictions, which are going to be restrictions. Legal restrictions are imposed by the voters. Legal assignments are imposed by the board. Appropriations are done by the board on an annual basis and they change from year to year. But what he's showing essentially is, if this is true, that these monies are restricted, you couldn't move, you couldn't touch it. They have to stay in there for that purpose. And that's what he's been running into, is he's found a lot of funds that have notations on them that they're legal restrictions that you can't find any basis for understanding why they're marked as restricted. And so that's what he and I met on here a week ago, was trying to dig in and figure out if there's anything I can find that would indicate that there's any sort of vote of the people that impose a legal restriction. Otherwise, it would just be your budgetary decision.
Do you go to the election board and look at how the item for voting?
He'd already pulled that. Okay. And that's why he was pulling his hair out, was trying to figure out if that's where it.
Almost like it just got written down wrong at one point.
And that's what I was gonna say.
If I'm gonna be real blunt, there are times where, one of the predecessors to Michelle may have heard a word at a conference and interpreted that the board deciding that we're gonna commit ourselves to doing X meant that there was a legal restriction. Well, no, it wouldn't be a legal restriction, it wouldn't be a legal assignment unless we had an ordinance that was stopped it. So, and I'll use Florida as an example. We've got a lodging tax, we've got one hotel in town. We have a legal assignment on a portion of that lodging tax to go to our economic development. It wasn't as part of those people when they were approving the lodging tax. It's just a self-imposed restriction. So every month, the clerk can move that money over to the economic development authority. It can be moved back if they need to, and they can amend that ordinance. And so legal restrictions are the most restricted part of it, which would mean that you literally have, absent going to a vote of the people, you can't change how that money is spent. Legal assignments, it's your dedication to how you're gonna treat money for a period of time moving forward until you change the ordinance, and then beyond that, it's just appropriation. Every year you adopt a budget, you appropriate money for different purposes. What it looks like is appropriation decisions was written down as legal restrictions. Just to say, a vote of the board to adopt a budget one year was marked down as a voter approved legal restriction. And so that's why Russ is trying to clean up your financial statements, and that's why before he changes any of this, he wants to make sure he's gone down every rabbit hole to make sure is this an error in the financial statements marking this as restricted, when it really should not be marked as restricted.
Far back as I could go was 2009, that's all I had here that I could access. I went from 2009 to 2023. I spent my entire day today going one agenda after another, starting in 2009.
Yes, that's what I was.
And I pulled everyone that has anything to do with any of the stuff that the, financial advisor, what they're working on, or what I felt that we might need going forward.
And
some of this stuff.
I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, there are some things that
Oh,
we
there are,
found.
okay.
But not
Fire
like
has,
our restricted stuff.
it's
We
not,
talked numerous times about the fire one.
yeah, and that's fire, that one and public safety limited use were the only ones with restrictions.
And that
Everything
one
else-
is happened last year.
Yeah.
The fire one was like 2001
Yeah.
or
The
2 or
older ones,
something.
yeah.
Everything else would
There's nothing else we
either,
voted on.
would either fall under assigned or not restricted. And the reason I say assigned is because it's in the budget where the board has said we're gonna allot just a certain amount, a certain percentage goes to capital improvement, a certain percentage goes to fire, a certain percentage goes to that.
But that wouldn't be legally
yeah,
assigned. Legally
that's
assigned
not
would be like
legal.
if you adopted an ordinance that said
And
a
the
half
other-
penny
yeah.
of our sales tax will go to the capital improvement fund, hard fund.
Right, and
then
the
at that
only
point in time,
one,
you were going to do that until you change your ordinance.
yeah,
As opposed to if you just every year made a budgetary decision, let's send the equivalent half cent to capital. Well, that's unrestricted money that's been appropriated in that. But
that's all.
assigned is more, assigned and restricted are legal restrictions on what you can do with money. One, assigned is a self-imposed restriction that you can change, since you said it, you can change it. Restricted is voter-imposed restrictions that can only be changed by voters. And that's why it's so important for us, is if it's not a voter restriction, it should not be marked this way. It doesn't mean that you have to, that you pillage that account and take all the money out, but that you need to know
Yeah,
and have it properly
and
filed
so,
on your
what,
financial statements.
because it got labeled at some point, we've not been utilizing all of our funds the way we're supposed to. So that's gonna be part of what he discusses, and how general, the reason it looks the way it does is because we've been using other accounts as if they're restricted, when they're not. So I haven't been pulling from this or that to utilize, because we've been using them like we're restricted, and we're not.
I'm feeling that Russ is gonna tell you he got more funds than what.
He is,
Well,
but.
And I
I told
understand
him I
that, but
would
at the
wait
same time,
until-
I mean, times are different, we're costing, let's just use gasoline, the cop cars is
Sure.
one, I mean, are through the roof right now compared to where we were even just a year ago, but,
Yeah.
I still have the constant feeling that this town is always spending more money than it should.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we'll discuss it, but, I'm gonna encourage you guys, before we get there, we can't just rubber stamp this one and throw it through. I mean, we just can't. This budget has to be, thought over, and it's gonna be nice having Russ here to help us through this process, but,
Yeah.
we gotta control spending.
Right.
This town, every day that we sit on this board, anybody here, we've always had a balanced budget, At times always been good or bad, that's fluctuated, but overall, we've always paid our bills, and we've always had a lot more money in our general fund. It was growing there for a long time,
Yeah.
and for many months straight now, it's been deteriorated to a point now to where, if Russ isn't able to create some, creative, transfers, then we're gonna have to cut
Well,
costs a
they
lot.
really aren't even creative,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just, because we didn't understand that they weren't restricted.
Yeah.
And now that we understand that, he's showing us how we can do it in QuickBooks and how it needs to come out and that sort of thing. Which I told him for his request that I would wait and just let it all be discussed at our special meeting, so it is a part of the special meeting.
Right. Okay. And hopefully all of us can attend, we need to all be here for that meeting, because it's an important one. So, anybody have any questions on that? Okay, number 15A, approval of checks for listed departments. Consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of approving of the checks listed below, in accordance with the Union City Code, ordinance Title II, Section 2-1-2, letter C, but there are none, correct?
Correct, no action on that.
Okay, 15B is the budget for fiscal year 26-27. Consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of approving of the, budgets for fiscal year 26 through 27.
And I'm officially requesting to pull that.
You're
No
not-
action.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're not gonna act on it until.
That one I'm
until-
Now, our final date and when we can,
June,
huh?
June,
10 days before July 1st,
yeah.
but please don't wait.
No, we won't, but so we need to do it at the latest, the meeting, the first meeting, our normal meeting in June.
June 8th,
Okay,
yeah, that's why he wanted to call the special meeting
yeah, okay.
now.
Technically, you would have until June 19th
Okay.
to adopt it.
But,
Will it be open then?
did
No,
everybody
no.
get a copy of the parties? Okay, yeah, that is,
That's
did everybody,
Juneteenth.
did everybody get that? By the way,
Then
Tom,
June
you did, okay.
19th would be-
Do you have yours already done, or are yours gonna be changed based on what he's working on?
No, you know, mine's different, there's
Yeah,
water.
yeah, no, I just didn't know, cause I'm just asking you guys to get them to us as soon as you can.
Mine's written.
Okay, is it in here?
I don't know.
We can't get the budget to you.
So when?
Well, they're just
when's our
preliminary,
special
and we understand that,
meeting?
but yours is close to done, right, or you're gonna be making changes?
All of them are done.
Okay.
But as he stated, we cannot present the budget because they're not legal.
Okay.
Because they cannot be.
I'm not asking to present, I just, for us to read ahead of time before the meeting.
Okay. That was his word.
Finish the thought there.
Because the funds have not been appropriated correctly, they don't know when they were established, we can't prove if they're restricted or not restricted, we're gonna have to develop some ordinances for those. So we can't turn in a budget until we get that done,
Got it,
yeah,
alright, but that will be ready for us in 2 weeks when he gets here?
special meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so you guys know the way the process works, what you'll be doing in 2 weeks
Is reviewing all.
is you will have the proposed budgets, you will not be voting.
Correct.
This is more of a work session for you guys to, and I mean, that's an important meeting for, just depending on how things go. If you were wanting to make changes within the budget, depending on how.
Yeah, I don't wanna vote on this until June 8th.
Yeah, not even, but the idea is the special meeting is where you do most of the work on the budget,
Right.
where you get to a place where you're about ready to approve it, you need to see the final document. That's when we come to June 8th.
Okay.
You have your
So
public
what day
hearing.
is that?
Your regular meeting.
Your
Special
regular
meeting, special meeting.
Discussion.
We don't know yet.
Well, we're trying to figure that out,
The week
that's
of the
what's
25th?
with the monkey wrench.
Had to be Tuesday, Thursday.
So, the week after,
Week after, I mean,
It'll be the week of the 25th. Right.
Make sure here, but that week is, I've got
Memorial Day.
City Council Memorial.
Memorial Day on Monday.
I'll be in Durant for the Chiefs Conference on
okay,
Thursday.
so if we had to move, then
But as of right now, that next week at night,
the week of the 25th, like he's saying, when are you available?
I'm good, I can do any night that week.
Okay, anybody else? The week of the
Memorial Day is 25th, so people are gonna be out of town. So it needs to be,
Absolutely.
it needs to be either Tuesday or give people more time to recover and have it that Thursday.
We're gonna have it on Thursday if possible,
28.
28th.
28th.
Would that work for everybody for the most part?
Tonight is my planning commission meeting. As of right now, I do not have any business for the planning
Okay.
commission.
You guys,
But changes, I'll let you know.
And if need be, we can move it.
But as of right now, I don't have
Okay,
any.
so tentatively write it down for May 28th.
June 28th, yes, May 28th,
May
I'm
28th.
sorry. Yes, May 28th. And I'll
And
see
then
you.
and then whatever we discuss and talk about, that will give everybody roughly 2 weeks to go over everything in your head for the actual meeting when we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
It also comes to that meeting that Russ, we hope is gonna be at.
Yes,
Yes.
Connor and Russ are both supposed to be, that's
Can-
why.
Can you contact him tomorrow and make sure that works for his schedule?
Yes,
Okay.
Connor and I will be talking tomorrow
Okay.
anyway,
Okay.
and, yeah.
So it's gonna be
And then
a-
I'll shoot you a message and let you know
Yeah.
what they're coming back with. And Matt, you too, I'll just, is it better to just email you?
Sure.
Okay, I'll email you and let you know what days they're saying.
Okay, just be prepared also, I mean, you're gonna have them here, you're gonna have your questions about the budget, if you've got questions about municipal budgeting, that's also a good time to raise it.
Yeah.
Can we, I guess because of that night, it'll be technically very financial related, anything financial related we'll be able to discuss or ask him questions about, correct?
Yeah, if there's something that that's financial, has no relation to the budget, then let us know and I'll figure out how to word something, put it on the agenda to make sure you can talk about it, but if it's financial related and it's.
This is just a time for us to ping him and get as much information out of him as we can.
Here's what I anticipate happening, I mean, you're gonna be talking about it in the context of the 26-27 budget, but he may be you made a comment earlier about, operating on a balanced budget, and to me, that means the money coming in for that year, the money going out for that year, one doesn't exceed the other.
Mm-hmm.
He very likely will tell you that you want to adopt a budget that's gonna make it look like you're appropriating money that dips into your savings, what we call fund balance. There's logic to doing that, but, it kind of cuts against the grain of running a private business where in your head, you know you have money set aside to cover costs.
It's always my problem, I'm just being honest with you, because that's how I think, and I'm about saving money, and we have not been doing that at the rate that I want.
And sometimes saving money is, you've got X amount of money in fund balance that you don't plan on spending during the year, but you're still gonna appropriate it, because God forbid, you might appropriate to cover for part of the cost of a fire truck. We don't plan on buying a fire truck, but we wanna have money appropriated just in case, God forbid, there's an emergency, and you don't wanna wait on insurance settlements to buy a new truck, you may go ahead and appropriate the money. But there's a difference between, this is a complicated thing with municipal budgeting, is you're gonna wanna make sure to appropriate the money that you could spend during that year, even if you don't plan on it. And so your appropriations should look greater than what your actual expenditures will be. And that's what can throw people for a loop, because you'll see.
That's where you and I differ, and again, whether I'm right or wrong, you can call me wrong, it's okay, is I always feel like the more money that I appropriate to these different departments, that gives them the complete and utter control and ability to spend up to that amount, and I prefer to set those back, and then.
And that's a good conversation I have with Russ, because
I'd love to have you explain it to me different.
Happy with this budget, but if money is left unappropriated, that's fine, there's no problem with that.
So it's not a use it or lose it deal?
No, it's not.
No, it's not, and we've made a lot of things over the years, the biggest one being the police department, when we first, 6 years ago when I first started diving into this, the police department, it's complicated, but it was basically like, whenever they were out there writing all their citations, that money automatically got deposited over into the police budget, and then we moved a little bit of money from general to match that, but it made things look in such a way to where, the police department was basically, the more tickets they wrote, it felt like the more money they would kind of have in their account, but they really didn't, because the general fund would just pay them less that month if they wrote more tickets. And so, but they were on a very fixed budget, and they never had any money in an actual account that belonged to them. They never had their own, and now we have all that separated in such a way where all that citation money goes in the general fund. Each year we vote on, how much money we need to operate that police department, and we do set it at a higher rate than what, well, let me phrase that, Adam will set it at a higher rate than what he thinks he's gonna need for the fiscal year, but it also allows him to control the spending in the department and build him a nest egg, of his own, that if something comes up and he needs some extra money to be appropriate, he has the money to do so, which in the past he didn't have that, him and the previous chief did not have that. And so, versus like David, where they have a specific tax set aside to where, he has the money that's strictly, guided to him at all times. We didn't have that for the police department. And which, now if you look at it, the police department has $160,000 in their account, which doesn't sound like a whole lot of money when you're talking a whole police department, and I agree with that, but at the same time, that's $160,000 more than they've ever had in the past, and that's by Adam setting the budgets a little higher, and getting, money appropriated to him that he's hoping he's not gonna need, so he can continue to build that amount, which I'm all for, but it's also, once that money's in his department, department budget, I always feel like it's really hard for me to go and pull that money back, to places that it's needed. and when I say I, I'm, talking about the board, but.
You as a trustee.
Yeah, as a trustee, but, anyway, we're spending more money right now than what we're bringing in on the general fund. But we have other accounts, like the municipal account, that's higher than, am I right when I say it's higher than it's ever been in the history of Union City? It's like almost 900,000, we're getting close to the million mark, which is good, because we would love to see a $2 or $3 million nest egg set in that account that we could use towards another water tower or other things that very expensive infrastructure stuff that could be coming down the road, but, I just always have the feeling when I sit in this seat that we, as a town, and I wish I could go to like set in on budgetary meetings in other towns that are our size and listen to what they have, but I just always feel like we're spending everything we make, so. But I'm one person, I'm excited about, we just hired a financial advisor, a few months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, however long it's been now, and so it's gonna be nice to have somebody who does that for towns all over the state to come in and steer me, us, where we're wrong and help improve it, so.
Tell you what your options are.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And I would encourage you, because he's gonna have a particular way he would encourage you to do it. You guys always need to make sure in situations like that to ask, are you saying that we have to do it that way, or are you saying this is what you recommend, but there are other ways? Ultimately, you guys make the decision within the confines.
Back to what he kind of said earlier, but when you look at just a regular business, operating a business budget versus a town budget is in like my line of work, when numbers are down, what happens? All the pressure gets put on the sales guys and different people that can go generate that income, and we gotta dig, right? We gotta work, we gotta put in that extra hours, put in that work to bring that extra income in. And this, you can't. Really the only way you can do it is to look those guys in the eye and tell them to go write more speeding tickets. Well, nobody's gonna do that, because that's just taxing people for no reason, do we want them to do their jobs and write citations? Of course we do, but we don't want them out there just writing tickets to increase our income, but other than that, we're 100% just every month just waiting to see, like Russian roulette, how much money we got for the month, and so,
That sounds like the federal government, you just got to print more money.
yeah, we're not those people, we have actual budgets that we're responsible for.
We have a constitutional prohibition.
Yeah.
I'm incurring that.
Yeah.
Quite literally, there's a constitutional prohibition that prohibits us from going into that without a vote.
And then we're a bunch of unpaid volunteers that are directly responsible for those bank accounts if something doesn't hold true. All right, investment suites. We have Fern Associates representation letter. Consideration, this is 15C, consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision of the acceptance of the representation letter from Fern Associates for the audit performed for June 30th, 2023.
It's this letter. It can be tabled so you have more time to look at it. I did not get this letter in January. This was just sent by the secretary for Raquel.
I have not read that. Have you read the whole thing?
It's
About 8 pages long.
Yeah, it's long, and what it is what they put in their, I can point over there, because that's where it is, yeah, this is what they put in their audit, and they need the letter signed saying we accept, basically.
The last audit they gave you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just basically, they're
That was
saying,
supposed to be-
I don't necessarily agree with everything in it, but.
Yeah, seems like, with your financial advisor here, it seems like a good opportunity.
Have you given a copy of this to Russ?
I have not.
Can you, send a copy of that to him, can you send a copy of this to Russ?
Yeah.
And then,
Table the item to your special meeting.
yeah,
Okay.
our special meeting can start to be like a regular meeting,
Okay.
and make an agenda item for the next meeting,
The special meeting?
the special meeting, yes, please. The procrastination
Better
support
to
group is not
change.
postponed until tomorrow, you heard that? Jimmy will read all 8 pages and bring us
Thorough report.
Where's it at?
Oh, it should be in your big packet. Of the top corners, and then 16B.
Jimmy, if you wanna go to law school, then find a way to make the 8 pages 16 pages.
That starts right there.
Still 4?
All right, so please table that and put that on our special meeting. Okay. 15D, and you're also gonna put an agenda item on there for this board to make a decision on whether we wanna go with, I'll call it the short audit or the long audit. Can you make that an agenda item so we can make a decision on that, so we can either turn Fern Associates back on, or figure out what we're gonna do? Because we need to get that back going again,
Gotcha.
ASAP.
Okay.
And will you send out a copy of that agenda like you do your regular agendas for us to kind of glance over it?
I have to.
Okay.
It's part of the, yeah.
Alright.
And I
15D, sorry.
have a question real quick. Am I correct in thinking if it's not an emergency, but it's a special agenda, so it's 24 hours, or is it 48 hours?
48 hours for the date, time, location, 24 hours for the agenda.
Okay,
So
So,
if we're doing it
48
Thursday,
hours.
then by Tuesday, somebody has to give you something in writing saying we're doing a meeting on Thursday at this date, time, location. Then by Wednesday, you have the agenda.
Since that's a 3-day weekend, can you send that, maybe have that agenda to all of us by Friday, the preliminary one? Does that make sense? Like you did this week, you sent us a.
I am not reading it the way, that.
Friday.
I will read it. I just wanna glance over it and make sure everything we talked about tonight is on there and that there's nothing that we missed or anything.
I think I can,
Okay.
because if I cut it off on Tuesday,
Yeah, you let us review it.
I'm sending it to you anyway on Wednesday.
Oh, okay,
He's
that's fine.
finding the preliminary.
The preliminary
not
one,
final.
not the final.
Preliminary one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, like you normally do, like you send it to us and give us a day to review it before you.
Yeah, I get you now.
Accept the
Yes,
final.
yes. Okay, I can do that.
15D, investment sweep accounts for public safety, limited use, consideration and possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, or the acceptance of making an investment sweeps account for the public safety limited use account, 44280-28684 at Bank First in Union City.
Yes, I'm requesting permission to apply a sweeps account to the public safety limited use. It's, in other words, I didn't grab that. I started, looking at how much we're making. Yeah, I have them on my desk. Anyway, because of how much is going into that account, it's gonna continue to grow bigger and bigger, and we're gonna make more off of that account if we apply a sweep to it.
Okay.
It's like all the other accounts.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Yeah, because right now, at the end of April, it was sitting at 131,000 already. And it's just gonna keep growing, and if we'll apply a sweep to it, then it's gonna, are you cold?
I'm a little cold, but he might not be good.
I did get from Karen over at the bank how much our accounts are made, so my desk, I'll be happy to grab it for you. But I asked her for a year's worth, like a 12-month period, to give me a total of how much our sweeps are making on all of our accounts. Do you want that? You wanna see it?
Yeah, we don't have to do it tonight unless you just want to.
I was pretty
Yeah.
excited about it,
Yeah.
but it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a big amount.
We trust you, that's your job.
Okay, but that's another reason she and I were chatting, and also I was chatting with Chief Taylor, and we're all calculating, all three of us calculated that we would be making more money if we did a sweep on it. Up to you though.
Anybody have any questions about it? I make a motion that we approve, number 15D, for sweep accounts for public safety limited use.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You made the motion.
I'm sorry, motion,
Oh.
a second, yeah.
Yeah, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Department of Union City Human Resources, the following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by HR Supervisor Michelle Burns.
Nothing to report.
Any questions on human resources, anyone? No? 16 is completed. Number 17, Department of Union City Payroll, the following correspondence is provided to the Board of Trustees for their review and possible action and informational purposes by Payroll Supervisor Michelle Burns.
Nothing to report on that.
Any questions for payroll? Number 18 is executive session, and we have no action.
Say that 18A, 18B, no action.
All no action, correct. Number 19 is mayor and trustee reports. The item is for informational purposes only. You have anything, sir? Okay. Number 20 is new business. New business is limited to business that arose too late to be included in this agenda. I see in our packet here you have one from OMRF,
It looks like this.
correct?
Yes. It looks like that.
At the very end of all them.
I lose some footing.
Keep turning.
This is where, I think one year it was Ryan.
Ooh, boy.
If you remember that, this is where we are allowed to nominate, one of you guys, as a representative for District 6 with OKMRF.
So who's all involved in 6?
You'll see at the very bottom of that letter.
Oh, there looks
It
like,
says District 6 members.
I'm gonna yield with one of those other towns.
Yeah.
Unless someone else would like to take that
We
role.
did do it one year, and Brian got nominated and moved on to the next round, and then I
I didn't
think
get it,
he
yeah.
didn't get it
Yeah,
after that.
I don't wanna apply again this
Did
year.
they,
Oh,
did
okay.
they give any indication that Tim is gonna not get nominated again, the current?
No, this is literally all they sent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't we vote for Tim?
There
They
were
nominated
meetings
you,
on
didn't
about
you?
it.
Yeah, I voted for Tim. I'm pretty sure.
You have a second thought, Jimmy? J&E Bolt Supplies over there, and I'm scared to even drive there sometimes. I'm like, don't steer it.
Their sales tax revenue's not very high, or
No.
it's higher than theirs, I saw.
And I'll just say, as somebody who's got money invested with OMRF, OMRF, kind of like OMAG, they're not your traditional third-party arm's length. In this case, retirement providers, this is a group of public entities that went in together to form their own retirement entity, and therefore governed by a board of municipal officials who oversee that and make sure good decisions are being made on behalf of people, which are largely our employees and the employees of all the other communities. Good decisions are being made about how their money's being invested.
Yeah, so it is important, obviously.
So that's why you even have this opportunity that you wouldn't have if it was a private entity you were getting your retirement from, because it's the oversight role. So, if you, I don't know of any plans that Tim has to retire, so I would assume that he's gonna get nominated again, but doesn't mean that.
Yeah, they didn't indicate it to me.
This is nomination stage. Once nominations close, then you'll get letters potentially, and you'll have an item to vote, sort of like what we did on the OMAG one last
So
time.
this is not the last you're gonna see of it, this is the first
So we
First
don't
round,
really need to
yeah.
do anything on that.
And if you want to nominate it, and it doesn't have to just be a board member, it can be, you can see in there, it's, it has to be an officer, which all of your officers, or employee, of their entity. So like Tim's not a city council member, he's a city manager, it's not the same. And so, if you want to nominate somebody that is employed and or an officer here, you can, otherwise, if you take no action, then you'll let all those other District 6 people consider the same thing.
We convinced Ryan that it had to be a board member when we made him do it.
Yes.
So thanks for telling on us.
Thanks for clarifying. I would like to take no action on this.
Shall be an officer,
Michelle.
member of the governing body, or active or retired person. So, I mean, you are a member of the
I
council.
was in the top, I don't remember how many there were, now that she said that, it was like a number of.
5 people and it came in 6.
Yeah, I really do, I think so.
Yeah.
The lady liked my story, but that's about it.
And I will qualify
Only
with
person.
that, those folks are not in OMRNet, they've got their own pension, with their own, pension board, but, and, we've got volunteer firefighters.
Can we even, sorry,
Oh, no, sorry, I was rambling.
can we even vote on that, since it's in new business?
Yeah, 'cause it's actually specifically on there, even though it's listed under new business, you do have, it's specifically laid out on there.
I don't know, I'm doing enough volunteer.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Judge?
Okay, alright, we'll pass on,
Okay.
we'll pass on. Am I losing my mind on the, this other resolution you have up here for 2026-9?
That's it.
Oh, that's,
If you nominate.
That's
okay,
if you
that's
vote.
okay, that's what that was,
You're not-
okay,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
You would
It
fill
was
this one out.
it was in case,
So,
if
I-
you
okay.
notice it's on the back of my letter,
Okay.
they told me to use,
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
I was looking for that agenda item 2026.
I've got some new business as well.
Okay.
If there's a way that we could get, I texted David about it, about getting swings at Keely Park, or what we needed to do with that. I know there was a beautification grant of some sort. I don't know if we could apply for that, but I don't know if it's already passed or what.
Either way, we can look at it if you wanna get quotes for us, David, I mean.
Yeah, I started working on that, I've been doing grants and I've
Yeah.
done things,
Somebody reached out to me that, since they kind of closed off the school, that there's no swings up at Keely Park.
I bought one for my kids, thinking they were never gonna use it, and they have worn it smooth out, and even ages 13 and 11, and they swing it 4 nights a week. They listen to music and swing. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing, but kids love swinging, like way more than I remember doing it as a kid, but I'm all for it.
I was asked to ask about that, so. Nobody else would do it.
Or, that would be a good discussion for it. What? Budget.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
That's part of, well, I mean, that is part of budgeting. Yeah. It is setting your funding priorities.
Can you put that on my face? Okay. I know, I love to say something. Anybody else got anything on their new business to add?
Connor Meakin said she can make it happen,
The 28th?
the 28th.
Okay. So Russ won't be coming, it'll be her?
We don't know, we just reached out to Connor,
Okay.
just to see if we could get one of them on board. Usually Russ comes if Connor's coming, so is their key.
For setting the date without, right, I understand, yep.
Mr. Schwartz, you had something to add or anything? I'm just here for the,
Just to observe.
Yeah, here for the show. I would really like for Russ to be here if at all possible.
Well, she's asking
Okay.
if he'll be with her.
These guys haven't had a chance to meet him yet.
Ryan, I'd heard there was lots of fireworks at this place on normal occasions. Sounds like there's gonna be an ordinance coming to help quell that.
Yeah, help spice things up a little bit.
You didn't try and parade any?
Sir?
You didn't try and parade any?
I'm not into fireworks. Not that kind anyway.
Would you like to run for a seat and sit here with us?
I'm pondering.
Okay.
Russ can only do Tuesday.
oh gosh.
What do we have Tuesday?
Day after
Yeah, it's okay with me, I'm back to work, ready to roll, so.
Tuesday for Memorial Day, that's the only.
Yeah.
Are you available on?
Yep.
Okay,
we
so,
come from the lake.
Tuesday.
Tuesday morning.
Well, what's the date?
Tuesday,
I mean, what time?
26? Yeah.
Tuesday the 26th.
Thursday was 28.
What time did you say?
You're doing that.
6 o'clock.
I just
I thought you said in the morning.
No.
I was making a joke that it's only in the morning, so that I was coming back from home.
I'm with you, Chad, we gotta have everybody here, we can't be missing work.
So, we're gonna say May 26th at 6 p.m.
Tuesday, May 26th.
Tuesday, yeah.
At what PM?
6.
6.
Sure.
You need it early?
No, I thought you said two.
Oh,
So that would mean the agenda would be out on Friday since Monday's a holiday, right?
thanks, David.
I'll be cut week two.
Just throw it out there for you. Cause I'll forget.
Michelle, if you'll reach out to me, I'll tell you what the agenda is.
Okay.
Get a short one.
Friday. So Keith, you were requesting the agenda. It's gonna be out, the final will be out on the 22nd, Friday the
Okay.
22nd. Is that quick enough, or do you want me to try to send you one earlier?
I mean, if you can, a day or two early, that's great, just in case there's something else we need to add to it, or,
Okay, so I normally would do my preliminary on the 20th, May 20th,
if
which
you
is
can do that,
Wednesday.
that's.
Okay.
It just gives everyone an opportunity to add to if they need to.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else, anything else to add? Number 21, adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye.